So I think I would presume that um, at least we are all on the same page when it comes to the units that we have treated or handled so far. Very well. So today we are going to look at the unit 4, which is looking at employee warfare in the public sector. There's an interesting unit or interesting topic that we are going to need a lot of practicalities on the ground so that we get to understand that the bridge between theory and practice are very close. I can recall I've been sharing with you as always that usually we look at some of these topics in the context of the theory. However, we must actually embrace the aspect of the practicality as well. It is very important that we are the ones that steps in to make the difference, not necessarily also trying as much as possible to cram all these things, look at the theoretical perspectives, write exams, pass, we get our certificates, but there is nothing that seems to be of a practice when it comes to our day-to-day activities in our profession and then with respect to our own livelihood as well. So we would want to look at the aspect of employee warfare. So from a general perspective, when we talk about warfare, how do you understand it? What do you make of it? Generally, when you talk about warfare, what do you make of it? Warfare. Let's see. Okay. Mr. Aminu, please, if you can hear me, we want to get your consent and opinion, with your understanding when the word welfare is actually mentioned. What does it mean to you?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Aminu, can you hear me? Yes, sir.
I can, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, please. All right.
Please, when we talk about welfare, my opinion is when um, an employee is given a conducive environment, a good condition of service, and the required materials and the required goal to achieve in order for the happiness and prosperity of the organization.
Okay, very good. That's a wonderful explanation. You have given unto us some of the things that constitutes warfare. When we talk about warfare, we are looking at trying as much as possible to seek a good, conducive environment, which necessitates the livelihood of the employee to ensure that productivity is high from his part. That is a very good explanation. Yes, Madam Anita Shidi, when you talk about employee welfare or welfare in general, what comes to mind? Yes, Madam Anita, please can you hear me? Am I connected? Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay. Madam Anita, please can you hear me? We would want to seek your opinion of the word or the term employee warfare or warfare in general. What comes to mind? Okay. So it seems Madam Anita either by network connectivity or has decided not to talk. All right, Mr. Benjamin Awate. Sorry if I mentioned the name wrongly. Mr. Benjamin, what comes to mind when you mention warfare? What comes to mind?
Doc. So I think when we talk about welfare, employee welfare, it refers to the benefit and then the facilities provided by the employer, just to ensure the well-being of the employees.
Okay, so the benefits that are actually provided by the employer to ensure the well-being of the employees. That's a very good point. Thank you so much. Madam Catherine Minter, please, what comes to mind?
Okay, Doc. Good morning.
Good
Uh,
morning.
okay, please. To my understanding, I think it's anything the employer will put in place. Example like the working condition, the wages, anything that will make the employee to be able to give out the best and feel comfortable in the workplace.
Okay, that's a very good angle you're coming from. Anything that necessitates the well-being of the employee to ensure that the employee actually gives the utmost best within the context of the organization. That's a very good point as well. Mr. Charles Amwa, what comes to mind when we mention employee welfare? I'm sure by now, as a teacher, in a way or two, we have been enshrined in some of the welfare policies and benefits associated with teaching. So, what comes to mind, Mr. Charles Samoa, when you talk about employee welfare or welfare in general? What comes to mind?
Thank you, Doc. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
All right, please. When we say employee welfare, then we are talking about how the employer will think of the well-being of the employee in the workplace. How you are going to handle the employee on a way that he feels so good to be part of the company, the working
Wow.
conditions, the salary, and everything that is going to be make the person comfortable.
Wow.
That is how I
Okay.
see
So
it. Thank you.
Mr. Charles Samoa is also coming from the angle where he's seeing employee welfare as the way or the how the employer will think about the well-being of the employee. That's a very good submission as well. Madam Christina, when we mention or once we actually say, oh, I want to look at the employee welfare within this particular organization, I want to seek the welfare of the employees, what actually comes to mind?
Okay. Uh, I think they are the various benefits which employees in a particular organization are entitled to. And these benefits are usually stipulated in a book which is legally binded. So the benefits, it could be either monetary or non-monetary benefits.
Okay. That's a very good important and an important submission as well. Thank you so much. Mr. Degrasofori, what comes to mind once we mention the word warfare? What comes to mind?
Yes, please. Apart from good working condition, good salary, good remuneration, well-established ethical behavior in the association.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So we are moving beyond the
please, I haven't,
benefit now. All right.
please, I haven't finished. Now, the right goal to be achieved, that is the set goal. It will be smart, it will be achievable, so that the employee can do the right thing and providing the materials to do the right thing, so that the employee can do things right. Thank you, sir.
Mr. DeGraff, I think we lost you along the way. Can you reiterate what you said? Hello, Mr. DeGraff.
Sir, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We
Good.
lost you along the way, so can you just reiterate what you said?
Okay. Apart from good working environment or conducive environment, salary remuneration provided by the employer, well-established ethical behavior structured in the organization, I think the right goal should be set, achievable and very smart, so that employee can do things right and also do the right thing. Thank you, sir. That is
Okay,
efficiency and effectiveness.
okay, that's a laudable submission, but you are veering off the path of other terms that are not actually related or connected to warfare. But that is a very good submission. Thank you so much for the submission. Mr. Emmanuel Asiedu, once we mention employee warfare, what comes to mind, sir?
Yeah, Doc, to the best of my knowledge, employee welfare is taking into consideration the general well-being of the employees to motivate them to put in their utmost best for effective productivity.
Very good. So we are looking at taking into consideration the well-being, the centrality, the well-being of the individual, the well-being of the employee. That is very fine. Mr. Williams, the final submission. Once we mention employee welfare, what comes to mind?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mr.
I think
Mr.
employee
Emmanuel.
welfare, this is an effort and programs implemented by the employer to promote the physical and emotional and financial well-being of their employees. So the programs and the effort
That's a
that
good
the
angle you are coming from.
employer will make.
Okay. Okay. So then it boils down to the next aspect of our discussion. If you are saying that the employee welfare takes into consideration the benefits that are associated with the environment in which the employee is working in, don't you think salary is the benefit enough of being an employee within an organization? Don't you think it is actually worth having your salary in check, in perspective, and then ignoring all other aspects as the centrality of welfare or well-being of the employee, as in contrast to other benefits? Don't you think so? This is a general question.
Sir, no.
Why do you say so, madam?
Based on our definition for employee welfare, we said
Okay.
the various benefits, i.e., whether monetary or non-monetary. So,
Okay.
in terms of our salaries, that is the monetary aspects. Apart from the salaries that we take, which is associated with the work that we do, based on the rank that you are in, what other benefits am I supposed to enjoy as an employee of the government, a public sector worker? So you should go beyond your salary. As the definition of employee welfare is, it should go way beyond your salary.
Okay. So hold on to that thought. Okay, you'll come there. So I was teaching one group, I think last year, in line with this same topic, and there was an interesting discussion that popped up. So if you want something beyond the aspect of a salary, respect to other benefits associated with the work you do, don't you think the employer is also worth receiving something much more than the work that you also do?
Should I answer?
Oh,
Yes,
you
sir.
can go ahead. Please,
Yeah, that's
if hold
it's
on.
a general
Please,
okay.
hello, hold on. Madam Christina is going to speak. Okay. So the next person, just put up your hand so that I can just notify you once she's done. Okay. So that you can have an orderly manner. All right. Yes, madam, please. Let's have your
That is
submission.
why we should have a performance appraisal in the public
Okay.
sector, especially in Ghana, so that
Okay.
the monies governments, the monies that they are paying, if our work output doesn't align with the sort of money that we receive, they can, in for other countries, they will either sack you or maybe umbe rank number so. But
Okay.
if the government really wants, or if we are going to look at receiving salary in terms of the output that we are supposed to give, then we should do proper performance appraisal where you appraise people. If they don't perform in the private sector, they will sack you. And I think it should be implemented in the public sector too. If you don't perform, I mean, you go for someone to come and perform.
Okay. So for clarity's sake, okay, I'll pick other responses. For clarity's sake, So, Madam Christina, if I really understand your angle that you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
if you are within the, let's take for instance, any other sector, either private or public,
Mm-hmm.
you are employed to work. That is the natural discourse. You are
Mm-hmm.
employed to either produce or render a service in the
Mm-hmm.
name of the organization you're associated with. And with respect to what you are doing, we are going to pay you a salary. So now I've made payment of the salary for the work you have done. Why
Mm-hmm.
do you think I should still go ahead beyond the scope of the salary and still ensure that your welfare is upheld within the organization?
So that I'll be very comfortable and put in my best
Okay,
for,
so
for
meaning
the
the salary
company.
is not enough for you to be
So
comfortable.
you don't ask for the salary there. When you
Uh-huh,
take the salary back to the public sector, we are
uh-huh.
all on the single spine salary.
Okay,
We are all on the single spine salary. So whatever I take as my single spine where I am placed with somebody in GES where the person is placed, it's the same thing.
you
In
see,
addition to,
madam, you
sorry,
see, let's not go into that aspect, okay?
okay,
We
yeah,
want to just look at it on the front value, on the face value, just like that.
okay.
Do
So
this, then
other
I'll pay
working
you.
conditions should be added so that the person will feel very comfortable
Okay,
to work. Uh-huh. So that you will
okay.
get
So,
the output
meaning
that you are looking for.
very good. So you see, the angle that we are building on when it comes to the aspect of employee welfare in the public sector or in any other sector, the understanding is not in line with just seeking the benefit of the employee. The understanding is not just looking at the well-being of the employee. The understanding is not just looking at the productivity of the employee. We are also interested in the individual or the employer ensuring that if I make sure that this particular employee is safeguarded, is safe, is sound, is doing very well, his or her productivity is going to go high to affect me as an individual. Mostly once we are explaining some of these concepts, we are just interested in, oh, aside my salary, I must get bonuses, I must get incentives, I must get this. At least you should provide me with certain proper certain things that are proper within the organization. But we end up over there, we end it over there. The provision of all this, one, you should know that it is not for the profiting of the employee. The provision of these benefits are actually geared towards the productivity of the organization as a whole. So the employer is providing the salary one, the employer is seeking other benefits by bonuses, by well-being, by training and development programs, by all other tangible and intangible means for the purpose of increased productivity within the organization. Please, do you get the angle we are coming from now?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the angle is not just construed to the aspect of, oh, we are on the same structure. What actually qualifies me to be higher or what qualifies me to be doing very well is as a result of the benefits that I'm receiving. At the end of the day, they did appraisal. I did well. They gave me a citation or all those things are very important. But you should know that they are doing all this not for your sake. They are doing all this for the sake of the organization. So they will give you a citation at the end of the term so that next term you will do more because you want to receive another citation again. So if you were actually being paid 10 Ghana cedis a term and then you were working for 12 hours and they gave you a citation to motivate you, it means that the next term you would want to beat that 12-hour gap. Although you are receiving the same salary, you would want to beat it. So if you want to beat it, the citation has become a motivating factor to cause your productivity to be increased. And once your productivity increases, it increases the performance of the organization as a whole. Very well. I think Mr. DeGraft wanted to speak before I came in. So, Mr. DeGraft, let's have your submission. I think Madam Christina gave us a powerful submission of which we have looked at as well. Mr. De Graaf, I think you had wanted to also give us a submission.
Oh, sir, well understood. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, Mr. Oh, yes, sir.
I think you have said it all, but this is the challenge for us in maybe this part of the world, our part of
Okay.
the world. They tie everything to salary,
Okay.
but the true way to entice or incentivize an employee to give out all the best, I think they've not, our leaders have not truly discovered it yet.
Okay.
I know some places where people will kill themselves for the work. That is, they will die for it. All
Okay.
because, apart from the salary, they have so much around that even sometimes you forget about the salary, but
Okay.
you still live well, comfortably, with confidence and all strength to work for an organization. But here, it's like everything is tied to salary, and you will not even know how to maneuver your life. So I think if we discover it truly, that a lot goes into performance. We know performance appraisal is established or should be established everywhere. We should know. But the other things that make performance appraisal work, I don't think we look at that very well in this part of our world. So maybe, as we have said it, we are all getting the understanding of it, and I'm sure it will be implemented along the line.
Very well.
Thank you.
That's a very good submission. Thank you so much. Any other submission? Any other submission? Okay. All right. So I think we have done justice by getting to understand what the employee warfare is. So basically, we are just trying as much as possible to look at the benefits, to look at the services, to look at the support and the structures, and also the systems that have been provided by an organization to ensure that the employees are actually improved upon their well-being, they are satisfied within the organization, and then the quality of life is actually improved. But the main motive, as I said, they are considering all this within the sector, not necessarily to end at the quality of life of the employee, not necessarily to end at the satisfaction of the employee, not necessarily to end at, let's say, the well-being of the employee, but geared towards the outcome. So you all know that if an employee is more satisfied, the person begins to actually give out more. So within our sector, as most of us are teachers now, provided within at the end of every month, you receive your salary. That is not of our focus now. But after you receive your salary, there are systems within the organization or the school that you are teaching in. Then they will say they are trying as much as possible to appreciate hardworking teachers. To appreciate hardworking teachers, just an example, in a way, at least if you are about 10 teachers, we can't appreciate all. They want to appreciate 3. By what criteria? The criteria is that they are hardworking teachers. It's not like the others are not hardworking. They are all hardworking, but the 3 have gone beyond the scope of the hard work. So once we look at it and appreciate these 3, the next thing is that the individuals would tend to actually work more. The other 7 would want to work more. The other 3 that qualify for the citation would want to work more so that they can be able to receive such honor or such citation or such benefits at the end of the month also. So the more they are working hard, the more the productivity of the entire organization is actually increasing. So the end motive of the warfare does not actually end with the benefits to the employee, but actually ends when the overall outcome of the benefits are seen in the productivity of the organization, which is very important. So, with respect to our study, we are going to look at the discourse just within the public sector because that is what our course actually entails. We are going to look at the employee warfare or the warfare of employees within the public sector. So, I think when Madam Christina was actually giving the explanation, he made mention of certain key aspects where she said that there are aspects where we can talk about either the tangible or either the financial resources. And there are other aspects we can qualify as what? As intangible or non-financial. So if you want to categorize them into these two domains, under the financial resources, aside salary, what can be qualified under it as some of the benefits that constitute to the welfare of the employee? Just using your field as an example, we are not looking at other fields. We are looking at just teachers as a whole. So as teachers, aside the salary where we know that the salary is more or less like a financial instrument that seeks the welfare of the employee, what other benefits can be categorized under the financial domain? Madam Anita, I don't know whether she's around now. Madam Anita, please, are you around? Okay, so I think she's not around. Mr. Benjamin Awate, what other benefits can be categorized under the financial benefits of warfare? Yes, Mr. Benjamin.
Doc, please, please, someone else. I'm not thinking about mine. Please.
Okay. All right. Madam Catherine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. Please, can you give us any?
Please, I think our pensions, social security.
Okay.
Oh.
So pensions, social security. Okay, that is fine. Any other?
Doc, I also think
Okay.
maybe giving
There is
some hard.
Mr. Emmanuel, right?
Yeah, yes, please, Doc.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
motivating some hardworking staff with maybe housing allowance or car allowance or something of a sort.
Okay, so we are not talking about suggestions. We are talking about something that we can do. So we can say maybe housing allowance. Okay,
Yeah.
so allowances. That is very good. Okay, thank you for that. Any other? Mr. Mausi.
Yes, I think my course may talk about allowance now, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I think over here is like teachers. I'm talking precisely about teachers. Teachers,
Okay.
like, they are not to earn so much, or they are not to have comfort in that. If you go elsewhere, you see, buying cars should not be a problem. And getting land, getting accommodation, when they transfer you from year to year, how you will suffer before you get accommodation, and nobody cares. All those things are serves as disincentive to teachers' work. So those things should be easy to arrive at. I mean, should be easy for the employer to provide for us, to make us, comfortable. But you will be suffering here and there with all things that are easy to get, you can't get it. So I think allowance, as it should be proper allowance, not just allowance. Why is it that when you are transferred, or when you ask for transfer, they say then they can't provide for accommodation because it
Okay,
is
so
you yourself who
okay.
ask for transfer?
Thank you for the submission. Sorry for cutting you off. You see, the
Okay.
question is, we would want to find out as teachers, what are some of the financial benefits that seeks your welfare aside the salary? Okay, we would want to know some. When it comes to the suggestions, we will talk about them. There are a lot of suggestions we want to talk about. We will talk about them, but we would want to find out, aside the salary, what are some of the financial benefits that seeks the well-being or the welfare of the employee? All right, Madam Christina.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We can also talk of profit sharing.
Okay.
Profit.
Madam Christina, please, your line is breaking now. So.
Oh, okay. I said we can also talk
We can hear
about
you now.
we can also talk about profit sharing, so that at the end of
Okay.
maybe the academic year, when they take their expenses and everything, and there is surplus, then usually they share it for us to chop small. So profit sharing
For us to chop
the
small.
incentives that we get as teachers. Yes, we chop small.
Okay. So Madam Christina will not chop big. She said maybe possibly at the end of the period there may be some income levels, or there may be some surplus at the end of deducting all expenses within the sector. But as teachers, do we do that? Okay, maybe the ones that do extra classes and other things, but I think it's banned within the public school. So let's see. That's a very good example, though. Mr. Charles, someone.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir. Apart from the salary that we earn, we can other factors that can also enhance that is job security. The job security and the comprehensive benefit that the workers come to gain. That is health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and the pension scheme. All these ones, and also training and development of the worker is also very something that we can augment the financial monetary compensation that we give it workers salary. Thank you, sir.
I think some of us are veered towards the non-financial as well. So basically, when we talk about the employee welfare, as we have said, we are looking at the benefits, some of the things that are associated with ensuring the safety or the well-being of the employee. There are two main categories. We can talk about the non-financial and the financial. So with the financial, that is what takes into consideration. We can talk about the bonuses. There are instances or times where possibly the students are on vacation. So if they are on vacation, they can say we are organizing vacation classes for the students. So with that, you don't receive a salary for what you are doing. You receive something like maybe a bonus because you are working extra. So the amount that actually comes is something that is for you, and that is a financial resource. And then we can talk about certain incentives. There are certain incentives that are associated with the work as or the job as teachers. Aside the salary that pops up, there are certain incentives that actually motivate us to do more. Maybe as you said, there are certain times that once you work for a period of, let's say, 10 years or 15 years, they can upgrade you to a next level without maybe doing your degree or doing another certification or any other systems as well. So you can be able to get some of these things associated with your work as a teacher as well. Looking at the non-financial, that is when you can talk about some of the training and development services or programs that are organized. See, as teachers, I know that we go for workshops. There are times that they organize nationwide workshops for us to be trained. I think recently once they developed the new curriculum, they trained all teachers across Ghana. We had certain places that we actually met, and then they taught us. They introduced the curriculum to us, and we really got the understanding of the new direction that we are heading towards as well. More so, we also looked at other domains with respect to, let's say, the work-life balance of the teacher. It is possible that the teacher may not be productive because maybe there is a marital issue at home, because maybe there is a case that is pending, maybe there is a loan scheme that they are about invading the home of the teacher. So what is the organization or the school doing? We know that in certain schools or public schools, we have counseling units and counseling services that are accessible freely to some of the teachers within their organization. That is, if you'd want to actually embrace some of their services. So it is very important to get the understanding and the scope of all this. You don't categorize them as a whole. And there are instances where the warfare is actually seen and practicable. You can really relate to it within the sector that you are in, that is in the public sector. You can really relate to it. You can talk about some of these pension schemes and pension plans. You know that after you go on pension, there is a welfare that will take care of you. Although it will not be as when you were active, but at least you know that 30 years of your life will be secured after. That is based on what you are doing or based on the experience that you've had so far. So it's very key you look at it from these perspectives and these angles. So we want to look at employee welfare now, not as a whole, now not in general, but we are going to look at the form it takes within the public sector. How does it take shape? What is really happening within the public sector and how is it connected to employee welfare. So we are going to look at the employee welfare in the public sector, labor welfare in the public sector, the public sector training and learning, career path through training, future perspective of the public sector, and then finally we look at developing the cluster concept in public service. So employee welfare refers to the range of services, benefits, and facilities that we are going to consider either it is monetary or non-monetary in nature, provided by employers to enhance the employees' comfort, to enhance the employees' health, to enhance the overall well-being of the employee. So we are interested in the employee. We are not just interested in the aspect of what seems to be a transactional dictate that come to work, do this, I will pay you. That is or no. But we go beyond these transactional processes that happen between the employee and the employer. We get to understand that beyond the place of the organization, how is the employee? So sometimes we go beyond and then they take into consideration trying as much as possible to seek the livelihood of the individual. Sometimes even as a now, there are certain jobs that aside the teaching, there are certain jobs that if you are going in, they would want to find out whether you are single or you are married. They would want to find out whether you have children or you do not have children. There are certain jobs that they are not peculiar about it. Maybe the work is nowhere related to being married. It's nowhere related to being single. Yet they will still be interested in to find out. I once went for an interview to that effect, and then I was asked, are you married or you are single? And then the next question was, as you are married, what is the next phase? How are you going to handle such a case related to stress? And all these may not be associated with the dealings of the organization. However, their interest is not just the transactional or the transactions that happen between the employee and the employer, but they are trying as much as possible to ensure that your productivity is always at the increasing level. So in order to ensure that they must be interested first in your activity, in your being, in your health, in your comfort, in your peace, because they know that all these are the regulators that sphere the aspect of how productive you will be at the end of the period. So it is very, very key you look at it from that perspective, and it's very, very important as well. Okay, so we're also saying that it encompasses provisions such as housing, transportation, medical insurance, food and safety measures, along with efforts to maintain healthy working conditions and industrial harmony. So let me ask, as teachers, maybe possibly as teachers at the basic level, because that is where most of us are now, teachers at the basic level, are you provided with housing allowances or transportation allowances? Does it form component of your salary? Oh, as I said, these are just for teaching purposes, okay? These are just for teaching purposes. So do we have in the as a component of your salary or the salary structure, do you have housing and transportation allowances and the medical allowances there?
No, dog.
They are not there. So wow.
According to them, they say everything has been consolidated into our salary.
Everything like what? Because you can't tell me that everything is there. Meanwhile, I don't know the component and the
Yes,
structure.
there's no component, there's no structure. When we ask, they will tell us it has been consolidated.
It's war. It's war. All right, let's move on. All right. So in essence, we are saying that employee welfare serves as an introduction to organizations' care. So the care that the organizations have to their workforce that is beyond the wages. So it is beyond the salary. It is beyond the transactional or the transactions that happen between the employee and the employer, as we established earlier on. We are interested in the output. I think even in the University of Cape Coast, we have something we call the dependent care assistant. So if possibly you are having a daughter or a son who is at the level to enroll in the university, there is an amount you pay, not as the usual fees that each and every regular student is going to pay. So assuming that you are supposed to pay 1,400 as an ordinary student, sorry, as a general student, if your father or your mother or the employee over here is enrolling or has enrolled the son or the daughter as part of the insurance policy, you pay about 400 or 500 cedis. You have a cut, a percentage cut. So all this actually incentivizes the individual to work more, to work hard, because the more he's working hard, he or she knows that no, my daughter is benefiting from some of these things, my son somewhere is benefiting from some of these things. So the care that UCC is having beyond the system of the transactions of coming to just teach, we'll pay you a monthly salary, it is different. And that care is what we refer to as what? As the employee welfare. So we are saying that it is geared towards building satisfaction, motivation, and loyal workforce. As I said, the actual motive of the employee welfare, as I said in the introductory aspect, is not just seeking the benefit of the employees. The motive of employee welfare is not just of the domain of ensuring that the employees are kept well, but the actual motive is to ensure that, yes, we want to improve their satisfaction, because the more we improve on their satisfaction or their well-being, we have in mind, or there's a particular psychological impact that happens, and that impact builds loyalty on the part of the employees. So it can get to a point in time that certain individuals can say that there is a better offer, but because of this employer, I will not leave. There is a better offer, but because of this employer, I will not leave. We have said it countless number of times. A lot of individuals, a lot of people have been saying it countless times that had it not been this person power, this particular work, I wouldn't be doing it anymore. Had it not been this individual, this work, I won't do it anymore. Had it not been this person, this work, I will never be here again. Yet we are still there. Although the salary is not good, but just the employer picking up a phone to call you every month to check up on your wife, to check up on your daughter, your son, is actually satisfying enough for you. It is giving a particular conviction enough that the individual cares about you, and that is something that is very key when it comes to the aspect of employee welfare. So some of the important, I think, as I've said, we can talk about what the motivating the public officers or the employee within the public sector. That is, if you are considering the public sector as a case or as the main form of consideration. But let's deliberate on this. With the point one, that is motivating public officers. How do you think welfare motivates the public officer? That is, in this context, you being a teacher, how does employee welfare motivate you? How does employee welfare motivate you as a teacher? Mr. Abdul Rahman, if you can hear me. How does employee welfare motivate you as a teacher? Is that the Rahman? Please, can you hear me?
I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, so if he's not around, Mr. Aminu, if you can hear me, how does your welfare as a teacher motivate you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, we want to find out, how does your welfare or how does employee welfare motivate you as a teacher?
So, as a teacher, when I am motivated, so it improves my morale.
Okay.
When I'm teaching, it improves the morale, also improve my mental stability and physical well-being, and I'm able to perform well
Okay.
when I'm given a better condition. I'm able to perform well. My morale goes up when all my condition are given, especially when the needed resource, especially with the teachers, we lack TLMs. So
Okay.
TLM is also part of our non-financial welfare,
Very
especially
well.
those in the basic schools. We lack a lot of TLMs. So when there's the TLM, it makes teaching and learning very easy and also boosts the morale of the teacher. Thank you.
Okay. That's very fine. Thank you so much. Um, Mr. Benjamin, how does motivating or motivation in line of warfare actually push your work or your duty as a teacher? How does it do that?
All right, done. So please ask my colleague just said, Mr. Aminu, is when all these are put in place, it motivates you, the teacher. For
Okay.
instance, in my school, we have structure a means of taking some small money from the community in the name of extra classes. So
Okay.
with that, it helps us to go to the school very early. So by 6:30, we are all in school. Meanwhile, that wasn't
Okay.
the case. But because we are taking that money from them, we are also motivated to make sure we get to the school before 7 o'clock. Well,
Very well.
before 7 o'clock, or yeah, sometimes 7 o'clock exactly.
Very well. That's a very good point. Thank you so much. All right. We are also saying that employee welfare actually creates a better work-life balance. And as I was trying to explain, when you talk about the duty or the individual or the employee, there are several things that constitutes the individual. The person may be at work, but the person may not be there because of the thing that the person may be battling with. And I think Mr. Aminu, no, I think Mr. Aminu mentioned the mental stability. It's like you have the enthusiasm to actually go to teach and do well or perform better and be happy about it. Once you know that the systems at home, they are flourishing. Once you know that I don't need to wake up thinking about my child's school fees because the work I am doing, they have already absorbed a part or an aspect of the money or even all the amount that is supposed to be involved with respect to teaching the child. So I'm working as a teacher. My daughter or my son is in the school. They develop a system or a structure in such a way that some of these becomes a benefit unto us. What do? You don't need to think about those things because you have already or it has already been catered for. So all that you are focused on is your productivity in the organization. All that you are focused on is how you can be able to work to achieve maximum satisfaction within the organization. We're also saying that it improves employee morale and job satisfaction. Definitely, you'll be satisfied at work because just as the example that Mr. Benjamin gave, now they are doing extra classes in the school. So almost every time, if the normal reporting time is around 8:30, by 7 they are already there because there is a motivation factor that has already or is boosting their morale. And with this, it's not like they are going to come and then go or they are going to think about it. The moment you are there, you do it, you are part of it, you are able to take or benefit from that particular structure. All right. Then we are also saying that it reduces absenteeism and turnover. There is a very obvious fact. If you know that you turn up in the organization maybe 20 days in a month, and once you are there and present at all times, aside your salary, they give an extra 1,000 Ghana cedis. So you are receiving a salary of 15,000 Ghana cedis, and then they are giving an extra 1,000 Ghana cedis for being present for the 20 working days. Even the days that you are sick, you want to be there. The days that you are not feeling fine, you would want to be there. The days that things are not going well for you, you still want to be there because of the associated benefits that are construed with your welfare or your well-being within the organization. For truth be told, I always say this, that sometimes they say we work for passion. Yes, that is true. But mostly, once the passion is not fueled by some of these associated benefits, your passion actually dies out. And if you are having such a morale or you're having such an assistance, it is easier for you to fuel your passion. So people will say, I love to teach, I love to teach. But those are the same people that will complain they are not being paid. So if you love to teach, then what is the focus about being paid? But in this case, we are focused much on the welfare. We know that the employee is going to be present because of the associated benefits that are linked to that which is actually associated with the well-being or what is supposed to be received at the end of the period. And we are also saying that at the end of the day, all the centrality or what we are looking at for in the place of employee well-being is to ensure productivity and efficiency, which is very, very key, as I discussed it earlier with you. Once you get the understanding that the motive of the benefit is not just ending once the employee receives the benefit, it does not end there. The motive of the benefits is to ensure what? Productivity, is to ensure increase, is to ensure efficiency, it is to ensure effectiveness. So it is very key within that particular aspect as well. All right. Then we go to one of the most important and salient aspects when it comes to warfare. You can't talk about warfare without looking at the aspect of pensions. You can't talk about warfare talking about the interest or the benefit of employees. You can't talk about seeking the well-being of employees without thinking about after their time of work, after the age that has been construed within the timeline, after the age within their capacity to work. What is the provisions for them? What have been actually aligned for them? What have been spelled out for them? What is the plan? And within the public sector, the government and then the structure has been construed in such a way that we take into consideration some of these things, of which is one of the major reasons why a lot of people would still want to be within the public sector. As compared to the private sector, I think it's just recently that most of the private sectors are taking much interest when it comes to the aspect of what? Of seeking the pensions or having in mind the pension systems of the employees at heart. Previously, it was not so. You could only hear of a pension scheme or a pension plan only with respect to the public sector. But I think now the private sector, they are also doing well to this effect as well. I think, yeah, most of them are in a way or two doing well to this effect. So we are saying that pensions are a vital component of an employee welfare, serving as a form of social security that protects workers against old age, poverty, and future uncertainties. So, assuming maybe an occurrence happens, you are within the work, and then an accident happens. Is it that you are just done? They are going to just get a new employee, they are going to leave you hanging high and dry, or within the public sector, there have been structures that have been outlined in such a way that whether there is a system that should actually take care of you after work or after old age or after an incident, it has actually been capitalized or been written down or be outlined, and that aspect is what we deem or qualify as the pension. So pension schemes redistribute income to retirees after a specified period of service, providing regular payments as financial support in retirement. And I think with this, I've seen a lot of people benefit from it within old age and who are also teachers as well. A lot of individuals, although the amounts may not as be as compared to when you were working, but at least it is better than receiving nothing at all. With every month you are in the house, that is when even most people actually now begin to work on within their private sector begins to establish certain businesses for their sakes, begin to ensure that some of these benefits in a way or two are invested to ensure continuity and the survival of their warfare or their well-being as well. So, public finance pension programs are central to social well-being, but often face financial instability and long-term financial funding challenges. Sometimes, with this particular thing, it becomes really of a big issue. A lot of people have the perspective or comes from a different understanding that the pension that we are being paid is actually from the government, but in actual essence, they are all deductions from our salary. And although they will not actually give us the breakdown of the structures, they will just give us some percentage. They will tell you, oh, 17.5% is for this, is for VAT, is for that, is for this is your pension, this is for NHIL, this is for that. But they don't give us the details as to how things are supposed to be and how things are actually managed within the salary system or the salary structure. So it is very, very important to get to understand that with this, when it comes to the developing economies or developing countries, there is a big canker and a big issue over there. Within the developing countries, let's use Ghana for instance. We have been here where they will tell you that a lot of teachers have been there, or a lot of retirees for about 2 years, 3 years, they have not been paid. They are still processing their documents, they are still doing this. And then later on, you realize that they will tell that there was no money and a whole lot of things. So the question is, what happened to all their deductions? If the person had been in service for about 40 years, what happened to the deductions of the individual? If the person had been in service for about 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, what happened to the deductions? So that is one problem and one canker within the public sector in developing countries. There is always an issue about financial instability, just because sometimes they will tell you that they loaned out the money from the coffers of these individuals to invest in other projects in the country, and it has not been fruitful enough. And that is where we have been all along. A lot of people will they will be on radio, and they'll be on TV, and they'll be giving explanations. Sometimes you wonder whether they are actually thinking about what the responses they are giving or not. But that is a case within almost all developing countries, especially within Africa as well. I think someone's hand is up. Okay.
It is me, Abdurrahman. I was taking, sorry, sir. I was taking my bath when I heard my name mentioned. So I'm very
Oh,
sorry.
that's fine. That's fine. All right. Okay. So we're saying that beyond retirement benefits, pensions encourage a saving culture among employees and offer protection for vulnerable groups such as widows, orphans, and persons with disabilities. So as I said, the pension plan in a way or two, or the pension that we actually enjoying can be qualified as a saving. So it means that deductions have been made. A lot of deductions have been made to and fro. A lot of deductions have been made, and these deductions in a way or two are what is being used to actually cater for us and our welfare once we get to that particular age. But it's really an issue. I once handled the case of one of the I used to work with one banking sector, and we used to pay some of the SNITs, and as part of the component of the SNIT on other businesses or on other companies, you are supposed to pay an amount to the coffers of the pension plan or the pension scheme, which have been identified within the system. And we realize that most retirees, they call it, what do they call it? They call as it the enrollment or something. There is a particular term that they use, processing, I think enrollment processing also, where after you have retired, the first salary you will get, that is after being a retiree or after retiring from the teaching service, it can take almost about 7 months for them to process your first amount, that is your first pension money. It can take several months, and sometimes I wonder why it's so. I wonder why it can be so. If I'm within the system and I'm retiring, and you have kept some monies in my name, and I'm moving, and I'm saying that now as I'm moving, now begin to pay me the amount that you were taking in my name. Why should it take almost 7 months? Meanwhile, we have computerized all these systems and structures. So I believe that some of us can make a very big difference, because I know we are not just going to be people who are educators, but people who will also inform policies, people who will also one day come into governance and begin to make certain administrative policies that will be very beneficial to the whole country as a whole. Madam Christina, please, I see your hand up.
Yes, what you are talking about, sometimes too, the fault is from us, so we don't even go there to
Okay.
check our details.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, from time to time, you are supposed to go and check whether your deductions is in your account and all that. They will
Okay.
wait till retirement, where even if in a year you make about 3, you are supposed to go back to that year, your pay slip, bring it, reconcile, and that delays the process. So they advise
Okay.
us that every year we should go and check whether all our deductions are in our account. You should check our names, date of birth. That inconsistency sometimes delays it. But if everything is correct, trust me, within 2 or 3 months, you should get your money.
Okay. That is fine. I think administratively, I think because Madam is very involved in some of these things. She has seen or he has witnessed some of the hands-on exposures and everything. But the question that I will always ask is that if this structure has been computerized, why should there be a need for me to be going to check? That is, if the structure has been computerized. But notwithstanding, we are still in the developing phase of our technological work. So all these things are very key, and they are very important and needful. We look at from that structure as well. So thank you so much, madam. So please, if you are here and you know that your age is nearing retirement, we know already that you have deducted about 5 years from your age. So if you know you're about retiring, please, as madam had advised, let's start checking on our pension scheme, whether it is actually being deducted in our system. Sorry, it has been deducted and placed in our account, whether there are anomalies within our system or our structure, or there is a need for us to reconcile with respect to our payments and everything. And it's very, very important. We can look at it from that perspective as well. All right, let's move. And aside the pension, there is an aspect that is also very key. That's warfare is actually involved also in, and that is where we can talk about education. Education is one of the key areas within the welfare programs, aside the pension plan, that actually informs and have a lot to do with the individual. And a lot of individuals are actually happy about this. I once had a friend who was, I think the person enrolled as a degree individual at the University of Tipos. And as the person was here, every month the person was being paid. And the person was also on a study leave. The person was also on a study leave. So it was quite amazing and interesting how an individual is learning, is being paid, and then the person is also receiving fees and everything as well. I'm sorry. It's receiving all this. Sorry about this. I have a newborn. Sorry.
Congratulations, Doc.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. All right, so education is very key, and that is something that we are all doing as of now. I think a lot of individuals can seek, or you can put in the application of as the study leave. I don't know. I know some of us in on this program, we are not really, or the structure is not respect to the study leave or any other thing. Sometimes we are just taking care of some of these things ourselves, and that is very, very key. It's very good. It's very important, but some of these are some of the welfare benefits that are associated with your being within the public sector. So, construed within the system, construed within the outcome is an aspect where we as individuals or teachers must be educated. So as we are aging, there is a room for growth in that prospect. As we are aging, there's a room that ensures that we are actually gaining a level of maturity in terms of academia, in terms of exposure, in terms of experience. So education as employee welfare promotes adult development by supporting continuous work-related and experiential learning, because there are certain keys that in this era may be relevant, but in the next phase it might not. So what do? We don't just lay off the employee, you don't just cut off the employee, you educate, you train, you inform the employee to ensure that the employee is actually working and being productive and then efficient at the end of the period. So it is very key in that domain as well. So a lot of individuals, a typical example we can give respect to the introduction of computer-based system when it comes to teaching now. I think as and now, previously during our time of growing up, we're all in the cytos. Myself, I was in the cytos. So I could really appreciate the fact that you just come with a chalk and then the slate, you come and write, you clean, you write, you clean. And once they see you to be very dirty, they know that you have learnt until we got into an era where now they use the computerized system. They have something assistance based, and then they will be writing on a particular paper, but the paper is not like the normal paper that you can write on. You just pull something down, then it cleans, and then you are doing well and doing that and doing all these things. Now you can talk about the notebook when it comes to the computer or the laptop, the notebook for teaching. So as early as 3 or 4 years, they are prone or they are privy to some of these things. As a teacher who was previously within the chalk and the slate era, if you don't upgrade yourself by seeking education and being trained, there is always going to be the tendency that you are going to be left out because you can't be able to keep up with the system and the structures. You can't be able to keep up, and that is where the problem actually is. So in our keeping up with the system, in our keeping up with the structure, we are able to really understand some of the activities that are actually in line with it. And we are saying that to be able to do that, there is a component of warfare that actually ensures that the education level of the individual or the teacher is actually upheld in that particular domain. So recognizing informal learning and diverse training methods encourages lifelong learning, professional growth, and greater adaptability in a changing knowledge-based society. And that was the example that I gave in that as well. Now let's look at the labor warfare in public sector. So the labor warfare in the public sector involves providing essential facilities such as housing, healthcare, education, insurance, and recreation to enhance workers' overall well-being. So this is actually closely related to the employee welfare. They are actually the same thing, but we want to just narrow it down to certain aspects within the public sector. So we are not just looking at the entirety of the of employees. We are just looking at the workforce when it comes to the main individuals that are actors within the domain. We are just looking at the main workforce. How can we be able to provide some of the things to necessitate their overall well-being? And the main purpose or the main objective of the labor warfare is to improve employees' physical, mental, and moral conditions. Very, very important aspect. The physical, the mental, and the moral conditions. There have been several cases where myself, I was teaching I've taught in the basic school, I've taught in the junior high school, I've taught in the Okay, I think I've not taught in the senior high school, but with respect to the senior high school, I was doing some remedial classes for certain people because of the school I was associated with, and I realized that in some of the schools, the children pay a lot, like a private school that I was doing a remedial class with. The students pay a lot, and then the teachers are giving few. The teachers are giving just a small amount to actually use or to actually cater for themselves. And the whole issue is that is not even the problem. The problem is you yourself as a teacher will now have to use your own money to buy marker to go and use on the board that has been provided. You buy your own duster to go and use on the board that has been provided by the school. So in actual essence, you are the one that is providing yourself the marker and then the duster. And you begin to wonder, So if you are within the organization as an employer and you can't provide these things for me, and you are still cheating me with respect to the amount that I'm supposed to use, it's going to be an eyesore. If I'm supposed to give the platform to ask some of us the amount you have spent, basically respect to some of the dealings with something that should have been provided by the school or by the government, you'll be surprised. Can anyone give an example? Mine was a marker and then a duster. So I had to buy a box of the markers. The one that I think there's 12 in one. They had to buy the box and then I'll be using it myself because they were not providing it. And it's not like they did not know. They knew was part, yet they ignored it. You complain, it will be sidelined. So within your sector or within your experience at teaching, what are some of the things that you thought should have been provided by school, but you ended up buying it or providing it yourself? What are some of the things?
So when I was teaching literature, I was buying my own books myself. The
My goodness.
Cochrane,
My goodness.
the summary, everything. I was buying it myself. So me too. When I was leaving, I took everything. I will not even
You will
leave it
take
there.
it. It is your own. You will take it. Even before buying
And
it, right? You
even
said you promised yourself that you would take it along.
the marker that you are talking about, we were buying it
Mm.
ourselves. So even in public,
Right.
they will not. The children will
Oh.
not bring it. So you have to provide for yourself.
No, but are these supposed to be provided by the school, the government, or the children?
You see, when you do something for the school, the whiteboards were provided by PTA, not the
Yeah,
government.
that's true.
Yeah, it was done by the schools themselves. So I think the heads were supposed to use the offering, the collection that they take on Wednesday.
Oh,
They
that
are
one
supposed to use
that one
those.
they spend it too. That one they spend it.
So they are they are supposed to use that money to provide for the teachers. But as for that money, as you are saying, you said they spend it too. So we were buying it ourselves.
Oh, I've been there. I've been there before. They spend it.
Dog, not all hair spend the offering.
But it is true. Oh, okay, okay. Not all heads.
Men are teachers I don't
Okay,
even touch.
okay. So
Marketing manager I don't even touch.
okay, okay. Headmaster one. There are certain money you will not touch.
Then
Mm-mm.
you are doing well.
He doesn't touch that money. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Any other example? Something. Okay. I think Mr. Charles Samoa, your hand is up. Like something that should have been provided because of the workforce, the work related force, but yet you are still struggling with it, and then you are the one providing yourself. Aside the markers, any other?
Dog, as a manager, where government is supposed to provide us with textbooks, with the inception of the new curriculum, I had to use my own money to buy some books for the teachers to use as a guide.
And the amazing thing is that if you have noticed, it is more or less like they expect you to actually, how do I put it? They are expecting you to actually get it some way, somehow.
Yes,
Irrespective of whether,
will make you. You should
oh,
provide yourself. That's what they will tell you.
hmm. That is fine. That is fine. So the main objective of the labor welfare is to improve employees' physical, mental, and then the moral conditions. So, Mr. Charles, I learned you are a headmaster, right? Mr. Charles, someone. Hello, Mr. Charles. Please, am I
But
connected? Can anyone hear me?
yes, dog, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear you.
yeah. Please,
Maybe
who
he's
is the
having a
headmaster?
challenge.
Okay,
Uh,
please. Who is there any other headmaster here?
Emmanuel Eshiru.
Okay, Mr. Emma, please, we would want to find out. So, physically, give us what you do to improve the well-being or the work of your teachers, and then maybe mentally, what do you do? And then, when it comes to the conditions around, what do you do? Want to find out? Just if you can give
Okay.
us a practical exposure on that.
Okay, look. Yes, we do extra classes and even the one that takes charge of all the monetary issues in the school. At the end of the term, I have a quota that I give it to her personally. All those in charge of the collection of any, whether it's PTA, extra classes, or examination fees. I have a special quota for them before they share with the general house. And sometimes when per chance, if I happen to chance on any money, I do buy certain things for them as a motivator to motivate those who normally help assist me a lot. I do support them in other diverse ways.
Wow. That's great. That's great. So with the support, in actual essence, what exactly do you do with the support? You mentioned of the support. Want to know exactly what you do to support them.
When no, sometimes when they are going for meetings
Okay.
or yeah, they'll ask them to pay by themselves. No, genius, that's how the system is.
Okay.
So I normally ask them to go in for maybe when there's worship money or there's any money available. I ask them to use that. Probably I support them with their TNT. Then they will
Oh,
take
okay.
charge of their own feeding. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That I
That's
assign,
wonderful.
those that I also assigned to do some work for me when it comes to online issues, I support them with data.
Wow. 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 That's a very good aspect, and that's great. That's great. All right.
Thank
That's fine. Please, do you have any other headmaster here who can give us a practical exposure on this? Any other headmaster? Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. So adequate warfare measures build confidence. It reduces worries and promote harmony between workers and employers, thereby maintaining industrial peace, which is very, very important. Comprehensive warfare programs address key worker concerns like housing, wages, and education. I think even as of now, there are certain schools that have accommodations that are available to some teachers, but sometimes they are not sufficient, or they are not sufficient enough to actually accommodate most of the teachers. Sometimes just a number or quite a number, and those ones, if you don't have a great protocol, you will not get, because the headmaster has a list that is following. The people that are actually there already would want to vie in, but just that they want to do more, they will that they could actually assist, or they could come in and then assist or do something, but because of the numbers that are actually competing for that housing project, it becomes quite an issue. So that is one aspect as well. And then we can talk about the education. That is something that we have already established. We have the study leaves that are actually there. But let me find out, within the public sector, how many times can you apply for a study leave?
So please, is in teaching specifically, or
Yeah, teaching specifically. As a teacher, how many times can you apply for study leave?
studying for a basic level, or maybe second cycle? It is only once when you are going to offer degree. Even that one is for only degree.
Oh, okay. Wow. So it is so wow. Oh, okay. Okay, that is fine. That is fine. And any
Masters
other?
are not considered, so we don't. They don't give for masters. It's only for degree programs. Yeah.
My master, you have to. It is between you and God. That is very fine. Okay. So aside, okay. So the basic is just one. That is for the masters. That is for the degree. So it means that your diploma, you can apply for the study leave, and then you can migrate to becoming a degree holder.
Yes, doc.
All right, that's fine. That's a very good submission. Thank you so much. All right. So categories of the labor warfare. We are having about 5 categories of the Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
You went
Yes,
off a
Doc.
bit, but you can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. All right. So we have five categories of the labor warfare. We can talk about the intramural facilities, the extra mural facilities, the statutory facilities, the mutual facilities, and then the voluntary facilities. If you talk about the intramural facilities, that is where those are the things that are associated with, let's say, for instance, like the canteen services that are associated with the work. Maybe at the workplace there is a canteen. Maybe at lunch you can go and eat for free. When I used to work with EcoBank, I think 2016, I was working with EcoBank. Every day you have a menu that you can select from about four foods that will be coming. Then you select any of them which you would want to eat, and it's free of charge. That has been catered for. So it's like a provision that have actually been made by the organization that you are with. I know when it comes to the teaching field, I don't know whether it is so at the basic level, because I know of the senior high school or the SHS level, because with them they have the leverage of eating with the students, and then sometimes they bring their food to the dining hall and then they eat and all those ones. So I think that is one thing about the intramural or the canteen services. Then we can talk about the aspect of, aside the canteen services under the intramural, I think we can talk about the child care facilities. That is when they have daycare service, they have crèches over there. So sometimes the public sector that you are in, this is so evidential when it comes to the oil and gas industry. So instead of the mother taking the child or the daughter to a school that she will not have access or control or any connection to, the facility or the oil and gas industry has a crèche or has a school or has a nursing home for some of these issues around that may pop up. So you are a mother, your daughter is in the crèche at break time, you can just go and then check up on her or him, and then you are through. So it is something that is associated the more when it comes to some of these instances. But mostly some of these ones are really evidential when it comes to those within the developed countries, that is the Western culture or the Western countries, in or the European countries. They are very common over there. But I'm not so sure about Ghana per se. But I know some organizations in Ghana have such a facility which actually absorbs some of the children and then takes care of them within that particular sector. Very good. And then I think with the intramural too, we can talk about the, I think, health. Very good. Health as well. That is when sometimes they will do regular checkups. Maybe generally they will say be a, every term they have one health seminar over there. Everyone can actually screen for maybe some hepatitis B, A, C, maybe breast cancer. Recently was the breast cancer awareness, which they actually take advantage of some of these things, and it makes it quite easier and accessible to the employees within the public sector, which is quite very okay. So under the intramural, it takes into consideration those canteen services, something within, benefits that are within the environment. So we are talking about the canteen services, we are talking about the child care assistance services or programs, we can talk about the health programs as well. Then we can talk about the extramural facilities. So the extra is mostly outside. So we are talking about the community development scheme. So we are looking at initiatives that benefit employees, families, and the communities. So for instance, the employee is having a dependence, maybe the wife, the children are about 7 or 5 of them. Then the organization takes into consideration taking care of about 2 of the children school fees for the individual. So it becomes an extramural warfare service as well. Then we can talk about maybe the social and cultural activities, like maybe family events. They are not supposed to be there, but you are marrying, then the entire teaching staff, they will be present over there. You are doing this, they are all there, they are always there. They would want to come and then be with you. Sometimes you are going to mourn a father or a mother or a brother. By the time you realize they are all there, the staff is there to actually assist to actually help you with any of the things that you may need and all those things, which are very, very key, very needful when it comes to some of the activities that are actually associated with the labor workforce as well. All right. Then we can talk about the statutory facilities. So with respect to the statutory facilities, they are very needful. It's like you can't do without them. How do I put it again? Like you need those facilities irrespective of whether you are operating or not. So it means that they are requirements. So basically, the labor workforce actually enforces them. They must be enforced within the organization. They are actually enforced. There is no two ways about it. We are enforcing it. They ensure that that particular dealings are actually ensured within the organization, which is very, very key and very, very important. Examples of some of these are the safety of the employee, or that is the workplace safety. So the workplace safety, we are talking about some of the regulations, the requirements that are needed, like some of the hazards that are expected to happen, and some of the things that you are bringing on board to combat it in case it happens, like fire extinguishers. Very, very important, very needful. You can't tell us that you are not going to have a fire extinguisher within your facility. There's always going to be a problem because there's a tendency. So schools, I'm sure most schools are having it. Headmasters, I'm sure most of you are having it, but just that sometimes in Africa we don't. Oh, it will not rain. It will not rain until we see the rains coming, or it will not happen. It will not happen until we see the issue happening. That is when we begin to become very, very mindful about some of the things that are actually happening within that domain as well. So it's very, very important we get to understand some of these things, some of these dealings, some of these details within that domain. And it's very, very important as well. All right, we can talk about medical care. It is very, very important. I think every school should have one, provided where you are teaching is uh, a place that is construed, provided where you are teaching may not be within a domain of a comfort. At least when it comes to the provision of health care, is very, very important. With the senior high schools, we are having sick bays that are accessible to all. They're accessible to students and then teachers as well. So they take into consideration the welfare and the well-being of teachers within this bracket, and it's very, very important. You can't just tell us that, oh, you are interested in this, you want to do this, you wish the safety of the employees are actually upheld, yet you don't have any medical facility that actually helps or brings them to a place where they can really appreciate whatever they are doing within the workplace, and it's very important. The next aspect we can talk about ensuring that some of the leave and then holidays that are actually upheld by even the employees themselves. There are certain people that they decide not to go on some of these things, but you insist that these people actually takes advantage of some of these benefits, which are very key to the organization, and it's very, very important. So you can talk about the leave, the holidays, like the paid leave, the sick leave, the annual leave, the maternity leave. Just that with the maternity leave, they just give it to our women. The men, they don't give us some. But I think now they said they are working on paternity leave. Or I'm the only one that heard of it.
Doc, it's true. They are working on it.
It will not happen. It will not happen.
God is
You will not
watching
use
you.
it
God
for
is watching
anything.
you.
So
God is watching you.
who pan the
God is
fufu for
watching
you?
you. God
You
is
will not
watching
use
you. God is
it.
watching you. We will use
Who
it.
pan the
We have
fufu
been
for
taking
you?
care of you people. We have been taking care of you. In fact, it's as though we are the ones that gave the birth. Like we did the
Yes.
pushing. We do everything, but yet still you will say we are not doing anything. God is watching you people. It's well. Very good. So I think Madam is going to be an advocate against the paternity leave, but we are praying that it does not work in her favor and it works in our favor as well. So that the moment our wives become pregnant, we should even go earlier, at least the first 3 months, because in the first 3 months, that is when they start sending us. They will send you to this. You go everywhere. You go everywhere. In fact, they will even forget that they have sent you, and they will call again to find out where you are, and sometimes it becomes an issue, but yet we are calm, our composure and everything is there because you are wives. Very well. And then we can talk about the annual leaves as well. I think that is something I've mentioned as well. Then you can talk about the mutual facilities. The mutual facilities are certain things that are actually are understood um, in a way or two. They are actually in line with what hello, hello, please, can anyone hear me?
Yeah, dog, we can hear you
Hello.
now. You went
Okay,
on.
all right, sorry about that.
You went off.
So
Oh.
okay, please, can you hear me now? Okay, so basically,
Yes,
when you
doc.
talk about the mutual facilities, we are just looking at the aspect where we can be able to share resources within the organization. There are certain organizations that maybe they are new, they are now trying to establish themselves. So sometimes, when it comes to availability of accommodation or when it comes to availability of certain workspace, it is not that actually an advantage or something that they really have as a now. So what they will do is that they will try as much as possible to work in groups, make sure that they create an atmosphere that will be able to appreciate you working as a whole, working in groups, and then ensuring and insisting that some of these things are carried out. Specifically, we can talk about shared workspaces, but like incubators. I think it is mostly within the tertiary institutions. With the School of Business that we are with, they actually have business incubators where if you're a lecturer, that they are trying as much as possible to enroll you on, is at the option where you can be there. You can actually work around whatever you are doing until you become very prolific within your area and then become very active within what you are doing as well. So they try as much as possible to create a room and a space for us, for you to actually work well, not just working well also, but at least to be very, very active within that particular unit, or appreciating other people or other teams as well. And it's very, very important. That is very key because of the nature of our environment. Sometimes a lot of people are having a lot of experiences, but they are scared to share until you are within the closet of the individual. So provided you are in the closet of the individual, you are able to embrace the person, you are able to appreciate the person, you are able to understand the dealings with the person, you are able to share because of what the organization have been able to do. We are not trying as much as possible to hide behind an individual and critique your work, hide behind another person and critique whatever you are doing. So it's very key in that particular domain. With that, you can talk about some of the transportation schemes as well, which is also very, very important. You know that when it comes to some of these organizations, they try as much as possible to actually get maybe at the end of the day, you close from school, there's a bus that will transport some of the people to a place that is accessible by all. For instance, maybe you are teaching within an urban or a rural area. So before you get to where they actually pick a car to your residence, they will make a provision of a bus which is accessible to almost everyone, and every individual can be able to actually have access to it, which is very, very important and very key. So some of these are very important when it comes to issues in line with the labor warfare, as well. Then we can talk about the final aspect, which is the voluntary facility. So we are looking at some of the amenities, or that is a social, we normally refer to as the social amenities, some of the services or the programs that are actually offered within or for the employees by the organization. So they are trying to amass as much as possible. They are not all that compulsory, but they are necessary and they are required. They are necessary and they are required to ensure the satisfaction of the organization, that is through the employees. So sometimes some of the organizations, they will organize some walk, maybe peace walk or something walk, and then all the teachers will be walking in town. Sometimes they organize health workshops. Sometimes maybe they will say some of the teachers, gym, let us go to gym, let's go to this, let's go to that. And it's very, very important we look at some of these things, because all these are some of the things that are really associated with the labor warfare when we are talking about the various categories. So, respect to these categories and what has been mentioned so far, which of them can you say it is really evident within the teaching field and you have experienced before? Which of them? Looking at the five of them and looking at the explanations, which of them do you think, at least, you know that with this, I've been able to, or I've been associated with it before, and it's quite evident in our field? Yes. Any of them?
So the
The
statutory.
statutory. Okay. So which of them was that? Which of the statutory?
Oh, leave. You know, the leaves,
Oh, for that one there.
annually they take
For,
part
for that one
small.
there. For that one there. That one
Take
couple.
small.
Some of you people, you add extra. You add extra.
No,
Go and
we rather
report.
trade.
Oh yeah, that's
You
true. That's
trade
true.
your leave for money. That
That's
one day
true.
I will do. I'll come to work and take money.
You will do.
Uh-huh.
Hey, madam.
Oh
Madam,
yeah,
I'm
me.
as well.
Money 5 and 6. Me and money is 5 and 6.
It is not 1 and 2, eh? All right, that's fine. All right, let's move on. All right. So then let's look at the other aspect also respect to um the well-being and the welfare of employees, practically looking at what the health. The health is very, very key, very, very important when it comes to looking at the well-being of the employee. You can't tell us that you are interested in our warfare without capitalizing on the main thing that is our health, because the health is also paramount. Aside the pensions, if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to come to work and then work to that level. Aside the health, I won't be able to take part in some of the activities that you're actually looking at. So it's very, very important we look at the health and the well-being also at the workplace. What are some of the things that employers are actually bringing on board to help individuals or to help their employees to ensure that the quality of life, their strength, their hard work is not at a peril of their own health? Because there are certain organizations you'll be working and working and working. By the time you realize you have developed something, like the teachers, for instance, as we are teaching, sometimes we can be standing. Previously, this online, at least you can be sitting. I'm sitting on my chair now and I'm having the discussion with you. Some of you are lying on your bed, you are stretching. Some of you are even going to take their bath. Others are even sleeping and snoring. But previously, you would stand from morning till evening. You would stand there, and sometimes when we want to impress our bosses, yeah, we will stand, we will not sit. Even if you see that we are on break, we are still walking around, we go and do all the jobs. By the time you realize, just 2 years, 3 years, 5 years within the teaching service, and then we are complaining our back pain, because our sickness is one. All teachers, our sickness is one. It's either you are having a back pain, you are having I think back pain is something that is very, very common. Maybe back pain or waist pain is something that has been very common and usual. So we are saying that health and well-being at the work are vital for both employees and employers, as a healthy workforce enhances productivity, quality of life, and then overall economic growth. So workplace well-being extends beyond physical safety to include psychosocial factors, supportive organizational culture, and adaptable working conditions that promote long-term employee health. I think these are some of the things that we have actually explained and done justice to. And then with this, I think I made mention respect to the voluntary, where they can organize some of the yoga exercises. They can organize some of the mentorship and some of the health exercises for us, where they can say they are doing screening of all blood related chronic diseases at a very reduced price or for free. There are sometimes that they will say, oh, they are giving some injections, everything for free. During the time that I was working with the remedial, sometimes they will say, oh, they are giving out certain medication. You go, you pick your vitamin C, which will help your throat in a way, because of the long hours of teaching and then talking to students and then what have you. So all these things were very key when it comes to, or are very key when it comes to the well-being within the workplace. So it is not just me being a worker engaging in a transaction that is providing a particular good or rendering a particular service and then you paying my salary. No, but you also are ensuring that I am fine health-wise, to be able to produce the good that you want me to produce, or to be able to render the service that you want me to render within the organization. Then we can also look at some of the retirement benefits as part of the public sector warfare. So let's see. As a teacher, I think some of us have experience. I think at least we have certain headmasters over here, because before you can become a headmaster, you may have taught for a very long time, so you have experience in that. So what do you think are some of the retirement benefits that have been so far? Some of the retirement benefits that are actually um, um, for teachers in that in your field. What are some of the benefits that are associated with the teaching? What are some benefits that are associated with teaching?
Sir, please, is it from the government or
Yeah, we are looking at it in the public sector, so from the government.
for the government? I don't know, but I only know of our retirements, the lump sum and the monthly benefit. What they did that from our students. So they pay them a lump sum and also the monthly benefits. Apart from that, I don't think there's any special
Benefit.
retirement package
No.
for teachers.
No, okay. Let me ask Madam Christina.
Yes, sir.
Is it so from
Yeah,
your end?
yeah, 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 yeah. It's for
Oh,
the
okay.
government. There's the same thing everywhere. You get your lump sum, and every month you get it.
Okay.
It's
All right. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So I think when it comes to other sectors, they are different altogether. Other sectors have different modes. There are different means of actually experiencing or enjoying some of these benefits that are associated with um the retirement benefits. I think when I was working with EcoBank, I got to understand those were intels over there. So respect to them. Once you are retiring as an employee within the banking sector, that is specifically EcoBank. Within the EcoBank, if you are retiring as an employee, you are going to retire with a car. They will get you a car, and then I think aside the car, they pay. I don't know whether it was 6 or 4 months of your house rent, and it was quite okay, because at least if not for anything, you are living with something that is quite substantial. That was something that a lot of people were enjoying within the sector of the banking world. So retirement is a good thing with some sectors, but other sectors they would want to be there because they have no idea what is happening. So retirement benefits and
sir,
pensions.
sir.
Yes,
Before
madam.
you continue, I think education, apart from our what we take from the government, like NAT and NAGRA too, you make contributions. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
are
yeah.
going on
The labor
retirement,
union.
yes, they pay you. Then
Oh,
in
okay.
our instance, for instance, we pay every month an insurance for the school. So when you
Okay.
are going on retirement, they invest that money. So when you are going on retirement, depending on the number of years you spend in the university, they will multiply by your monthly gross before deduction, then pay it to you
Oh, okay.
as
That's great. Then
but you
there are
pay
a lot of
you pay
for that
and
one. No, see, the whole
Mhm.
issue is that if all these are being paid, and then at the end of the day you receive it as it ought to be received, there is no problem with respect to that. Oh, the whole issue that we are facing as a country or within this our particular world is that the deductions are going to be made. You're going to be part of it. You're going to be doing everything. Yet there is always still going to be that particular room where, oh, I think we were here and then we heard that they have bonds, they have used bonds for loans or something, they are not paying all bond holders and a whole lot of things. And it became an issue in Ghana. How can the government selling bonds as a means of raising money run at a loss and now tell the citizens or the individuals who are bond holders that they are not going to pay them? So that's the only problem that we are facing, or I think we have, when it comes to this particular domain. All right, that's fine. So we are saying that retirement benefits and pensions enhance the public sector's attractiveness by providing job security and encouraging long-term commitment among employees, which is also very, very important. Sometimes some of the organizations to trap the employee or to ensure that the employee becomes loyal to the very end of the organization. They try as much as possible to let you understand. Within this organization, if you work for more than 10 years and you retire within this organization, these are some of the benefits. At least you get a car, you get your own house, you get this. So you just shut your mind of other places. Your focus is just this particular place because of some of the benefits that are associated with retiring over there, or actually completing your tenure in the labor force over there, which is very, very important in this domain. But sometimes it is quite easier. Sometimes I wonder why it's quite easier for teachers to switch into other domains or other fields as compared to other people or other people in certain public sectors switching to become teachers. Is a problem, but that's fine. So we are saying that flexible pension systems that allow mobility between the public and private sectors promote career advancement and help retain skilled professionals in government services. So it is also very important we get to understand that when it comes to the area of the retirement, there are instances where you can be able to actually move to other sectors. Like people have been moving to private sectors once they hit a particular age within the government sector. I know a lot of lecturers that are beyond 60, others 65, and they are working in private sectors now. So within the public sector, your service may be over, but because of career advancement and because of collaborations within that policy and within the system we are referring to, you can actually move to a different sector, or you can actually move to a new sector that is a private sector, and your worth will still be there. So people are still relevant within the sector that they are in because of their association, or because of the policies and the plan that they try to actually bring and then embrace within that category as well. All right. Then we can also look at the human warfare in emerging economies. That is the human warfare within emerging economies. These are just contemporary issues that I want to look at and then bring and embrace the idea in that particular prospect. So within emerging economies, we are saying that human warfare in emerging economies is measured globally through the UN's, that is the United Nations Human Development Index, which assesses well-being and then progress. So it is not just that it has been left ajar for anyone to do anything that he or she pleases. It is not that it has been left ajar that, oh, individuals can decide to do this, they can decide to do that, they can will to do this. No, it has not been done in that particular domain. But there is a system, there's a structure that brings them to a particular realm and room that where they are guided by certain rules, they are guided by certain laws, they are guided by certain structures. And these structures don't just necessarily say that you can choose to do that or you can choose to no, but their laws, their structures are governed strategically when it comes to seeking the welfare and the well-being of employees, or employees who are working within the organization. They are saying that sustained economic growth in emerging markets depends on effectively addressing welfare challenges such as poverty, inequality, and unemployment, and poor health. So all these are some of the things that we are trying to talk about, where there is a particular body that tries as much as possible to look at the welfare of the employees in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of societal support, what have been done, what is being done, what are you doing, what is the employer actually making available to support and assist the employees' activities, what have been done to actually help to assist in some of these dictates. If it is not so, or it is not done, they will query the employers or the organization in which the individual is working with. It's 9:03 a.m. We'll go for just 10 minutes break, and then when we come and then continue with some of the issues with warfare within the European sector, and then we relate it to Ghana or Africa as a whole, and then we proceed. So please, with 10 minutes, let's go and break and then resume once the time is in. Thank you.
Okay, no.
Okay. So I think we can resume now. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we
Okay,
can hear you, Doc.
let's proceed. So let's look at some of the issues that was respect to warfare that was raised for over the period during the in the European public sector when it comes to some of the challenges that have been so far. And this is actually quite so because it has actually been raised in a lot of sectors or in a lot of segments within the world, not just respect to the European domain, but looking at the African context, where it's even at the Western state as well. So the first issues that they mentioned was respect to financial sustainability pressures, which is actually quite so because when it comes to the welfare of the employee, it is not cheap. Going beyond the aspect of the payment of the salary that is the actually approved system of the work that the person is doing, you're also incurring other costs by ensuring the safety of the person, ensuring the work-life balance of the person, ensuring the peace and then the mental health of the individual. So all this becomes the cost that the person that is actually the employer bears. And if the employer is the one that is bearing all these costs, you can actually attest to the fact the the pressures that are actually within that particular upon the individual within that context. So it is very, very key when you look at it from that domain. Individuals have issues with respect to the costs that are associated with the warfare of employees. Then the aspect is the need for modernization. Even at this era, a lot of individuals are still going back to the olden regime where it was just the traditional way of ensuring the safety of the individuals, where it was just the traditional way of ensuring the safety of employees. But as of now, we are looking at how some of these individuals or some of these employees have gone through a lot of processes and transitions. So something that was a welfare system or a well-being program that was about 10 years ago, as of now, it is no longer that particular well-being program again. So as of now, we are looking at a more structured system, a more modernized domain, a more modernized system. And if you don't embrace that more modernized system as of now, it is going to create a lot of loopholes within the structures. And that is where the actual problem is. There is always an issue with modernization. How do we abreast ourselves with the new system? How do we engage in certain activities that are actually aligned with the respect to current globalization domains and globalization issues? Until we come to a place of embracing and understanding some of these dictates and systems, there is always going to be the tendency of either neglecting the actual major issues or the major problem that needs attention, or we are just going to look at it as though it does not exist where the problem is. So we are spending a lot in welfare schemes that may not directly affect or improve upon the livelihood of the individuals, but we are wasting our time doing some of these things. And once we waste our time, people can just say that, oh, because it was not what I wanted, I wouldn't also contribute in a way. And that is so. The person may be right because that is not the actual thing that the person was expecting to receive at the end of the day, which is also very key. We look at our key system we look at in this particular aspect. Then we can talk about the changing labor patterns, which is very key. Just looking at the teaching field, for instance, usually there was nothing like the computerization or technological innovation that we are seeing now. Now, everything to do with our academic perspective is just about technology. So if you don't have a more construed mechanism that factors and features some of these welfare programs, like we are ensuring that, okay, these individuals are going to, for instance, we want to actually help these individuals to improve upon their expertise, their knowledge in computers, their knowledge in technology. We want to assist them to become better individuals, want to do this, want to do that, until we come to that particular realm and appreciate these patterns and appreciate these things. It is always going to create a loophole within the government system because the labor is not fixed, that you develop a program that will be for a lifetime, like for 10 years. You develop a program that will be for like 20 years. That that this is the welfare structure that we have put in place. No, we don't do that. You try as much as possible to adopt the changing trends and as to what is more relevant respect to when it comes to the adhering to the needs and then the demands of the employees. So we can also talk about the governance and the reform challenges that are associated with it. Some of these things are some of the ways to sustain the welfare. What ways should be employed? Some of these, that is looking at the expansion and the bureaucracy, the fiscal strain, the revenue challenges, and then the risk on sustainability. We are just trying as much as possible to inculcate some of these structures to help and address and understand and help, to help for them to really understand the systems and the changing trend as to what to do to sustain these trends that are actually coming on board in this our perspective as well. So then let us then look at some of the things that are really looked into when it comes to public service training and then learning. So training is very important. I think we have actually established that fact, because if you are not trained to understand the system, there is always going to be the tendency for you to neglect some of the main things or the major things. And as an employee, you may not be doing yourself the best or the things that are of an advantage onto you. And mostly the employees in a way, the employers in a way or two understand and know some of these things as they are very important when it comes to the activities that are connected to the activities that are connected to what we are handling or dealing with. Notwithstanding, we would want to take advantage of it. What must I do to become very effective and efficient within the public sector? What should be done to ensure that my well-being is actually edified? There are certain individuals that it is not that they don't want to work, it is just that they are not, or they don't have the education or the background enough to warrant or facilitate some of these happening. So it is very important we look at it from this particular domain. So training in the public sector goes beyond induction. It involves ongoing learning. That is ongoing. So a continual process, ongoing. It is a continual system. It is something that is ongoing, that like the process never ends. So today we want to upgrade ourselves to actually enter into maybe the tertiary or the senior high school. So we are trying to pick up certain courses. We are in the process of learning. We are trying to learn, ever learning in this particular domain. So until you come to a place where there's always that system of embracing the actual domain of training yourself, seeking the needed or the required expertise, there is always going to be the area where people are going to overlook your services, or they are going to overlook the things you are doing, or they are going to actually come to a place where they don't really appreciate some of the things that you are doing. So regular training and learning ensure continuity by preparing individuals to fill certain vacuums and to fill certain prospects. So you continue to upgrade yourself, you continue the process, you continue. And it is very needful that the public sector also invests. The investment in the public sector should be very, very massive, especially in this our era, especially in this our season. It is very, very important, because this public sector we are seeing in a way or two does not actually appreciate the aspect on the domain of ensuring that technology is actually embraced, because a lot of people are scared of technology. A lot of individuals are scared, not because they don't want to appreciate it, but because they think technology is taking their job, is taking the thing that they are supposed to be doing, is interfering with some of the activities. And there is so, because a lot of individuals now, with respect to the introduction of AI, they think, so if this AI can do my job, then it means that I'm going to be redundant in the coming year. It means that there's going to get to a point in time that my services might not be needed in this office. It means that my services may no longer be appreciated in this particular organization. So the fear of the unknown dawns on us. The fear of the unknown dawns on us. And this is something that a lot of us, a lot of individuals have been going through, a lot of people have been experiencing, and it is very key we embrace that aspect. Investing in technology is very key. That is why I think last week I was advising one of us that it is better you embrace the aspect, not necessarily with respect to saying you were born before computers, therefore you will not get used to the system, how to actually use a phone or a smartphone, how to use a laptop, because there are, as of now, there could be certain opportunities that may be outside. You may be employed as a teacher, but you'll be teaching online. If you are not used to some of the tools, if you are not used to technology, if you are not knowledgeable in that field, you are not going to be able to live up to the standard. I know a lot of teachers that are very good, very excellent, but just because of that gap, they miss a lot of opportunities in that domain. So it is best we invest in public sector training. The government supports the public sector support, and the individual or the employee becomes readily available to understand, readily available to learn, readily available to adopt to some of the changes and to embrace some of the systems that are around this particular domain. So why then do we actually need to engage in public service training? We are saying that the main object or one of the objectives of ensuring that service training is actually adhered to within the public sector is to provide demand-driven and practically oriented training programs for public service personnel. This is so because within the public service and in the private service or other services, there are certain things that are required in both. Maybe there are certain things that may be because of the demands in the public sector, it will not be the same as the demands in the private sector. Therefore, once you engage in such trainings that are spearheaded by the public sector or the public governance or the governance structure within and tailored within the structures of the organization you find yourself in, it becomes easier for you to be mentored. It becomes easier for you to be trained. It becomes easier for you to develop certain programs that can be in the continual foreseeable future. In addition to, we can say that to disseminate knowledge and promote continuous skills development among employees, because it is tailored within the public sector. You know that once you are within this public sector and it's still under that particular domain, like you are a teacher in the basic school in Kumasi, and then you are transferred to the basic school in Techiman, you know that definitely it is the same school, it's the same structure, it's the same public sector. So the training and the knowledge you have inculcated within this particular sector is going to be profitable within this domain. So because it is tailored and structured within our system, it allows for continuous skills development among employees, and also to develop skills, knowledge, and awareness. Very, very important. A lot of people are not aware of the changing trends. So within the public sector, we try as much as possible to develop certain individuals that will be aware of the changing trends, will be aware of developing these programs, and will be aware of streamlining the activities to meet the intended purpose of the service. The functions being the offering of the advisory services, which is very important. So it becomes like it becomes an independent body that, for instance, as teachers, we go for workshops day in, day out. So which people are the ones that design this? They offer certain advisory rules or certain offering advisory rules or certain public service management systems, training, and skills within that particular domain as well. The next aspect is to actually look at trying as much as possible to disseminate information, which is very key, to disseminate knowledge or information on good public service management. The major or one of the major problems within the public sector is the aspect of continuity. Sometimes individuals will actually be in the service, they'll go on retirement, and there is no one that is succeeding them. There is no one that is practically under them to help them to actually continue the good works that they were doing, because they were even scared that those individuals were going to take their position, but it was not so. So with that, what they try to do is just to disseminate the information as a training unit or as a service unit as well. So these are some of the principles which are well explanatory, looking at access and entitlement, looking at needs analysis, a competency-based approach to learning outcomes, adequate resourcing, career pathing, and then what have you. All these are some of the principles that are associated with the public service training as well. Then let's look at the career path through training. A lot of us actually identified our career path because of a training model that we attended, because of a training platform that we attended, because of a training structure that we have found in or we found ourselves in. So a career path refers to the progressive environment or movement, of an employee within an organization involving vertical, lateral, or cross-functional transitions that outline potential future positions and responsibilities. So what we are trying to communicate is that with respect to every individual, there is always a career path. So you don't stay at one level for a long time, or you don't stay at one level and say that there is something that you are doing. Just as practically what we are doing. We have been at the basic school for a while. We are enrolled on the street program, and we become competitive enough to be able to move higher from the hierarchy within that which we are connected to. So it is very, very important we get to understand our career path, and this mainly actually comes through support or training. So training supports this growth by building the skills and competencies. So a way of that which we are doing is that we are training you. So we are training you to help you get to the other side when it comes to the senior high school or the other colleges or wherever you'd want to switch to. So basically, that is something that is construed in line with the career path. And it is very, very important we embrace that aspect. The importance of career path that cannot be undermined. A lot of individuals, because of the understanding respect to what they are doing, oh, this is what I intend to do. So I'm okay at this level. This is what I want to achieve. I am okay at this level. It creates a lot of loopholes in our understanding. It creates a lot of uncertainties with respect to where we want to get to. It creates a lot of uncertainties with respect to the path we want to journey on. So it is very important you get that understanding. So career path helps employees plan and achieve and help them plan and achieve positive career development through informed decisions and hard work. It also enhances employee satisfaction because there are certain individuals that it is not the money that they want. There are certain individuals that it is not that the money that they want. Sometimes giving them the platform to actually be something better, to be someone better, to actually advance in their career is everything that they need, is everything that they want. And that is something that is very, very good. And that is very, very important because it is not always the financial benefits, the financial warfare. It is not always the bonuses. It is not always the salaries. Sometimes they giving the platform, just the steady benefit that we talked about. Just having those steady benefits alone have a tendency just that alone have the tendency of bringing you to the place of engaging or having an access to the platform.
Hello, Doc. Please, we can't hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
Listen, I don't know. I can't hear doctor.
Yes, his line is off. I called him. He said his line off, so he's trying to reconnect.
No. No. Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Hey, can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
now? Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Doc.
Can anyone hear me now?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Can you see the slides?
No, Doc.
Please, can you hear?
No, Doc.
Hello.
Yes, Doc. Your screen is not showing.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Please, can anyone hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Can you see the slide?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. That's fine. All right. So I think we're looking at the importance of the career path, and we were discussed them as well. So it also attracts graduates with meaningful work, competitive pay, better pensions, and then improved working conditions. And also looking at the diverse roles and then the managerial opportunities in the public sector, prepare employees for leadership and then um, future prospects in that particular case. Because there are certain individuals that because they don't know anything, because usually I had a mindset while growing up that I will never work in the government sector or I'll never work in the public sector. The reason being that public sector, they are not paid well. Public sector, they are not given the necessary or the required. Okay. Then we have the lifelong learning in the public sector. So you see, some of these are skills that are very, very needful. Some of these are the continuity or the continuation of that, which is very needful when it comes to the public sector, the beauty within the public sector. Until some of these trainings are given to some individuals that are key actors within the public sector, there's always going to be the tendency where people then just literally neglect the need to seek knowledge, the need to seek improvement, the need to seek excellence, the need to seek the better option within their domain as or within the context of the public sector, and then embracing the continuity from that perspective as well. So within the public sector, there is a continual learning of new skills and competencies. This is something that is closely associated or linked to the aspect or the dimension of one, the place of job security. Because in the public sector, like as teachers, for instance, the moment you are employed as a teacher, you know that if you don't indulge yourself in anything that is too extreme, or if you don't indulge yourself in anything that may take you out of the sector, your job is secured at least to a level. At least to a level. We know that there is much confidence and surety that. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we
Yes,
can
sir.
hear
We
you.
can.
Okay. So there's so much surety that when it comes to your job, it is safeguarded and you can be able to do well, or you can be able to meet, or actually be in the system for a very long time. If no scandal or any other thing does not take you out unscrupulously. So within the public sector domain, there is so much job security that you tend to just develop yourself, learn new skills, you learn new ways to doing the same thing that you are doing, you learn new ways to adopting and embracing some of these things that are around what you intend to achieve at the end of the period. So it's very, very important you look at it in that context as well. We can talk about the new pathways to learning, which is very key. Then the governance system. Although the governance will change, although there are changes within the government and how they do their things or administer their roles. However, the structure still remains the same. Your relevancy still remains the same. The systems and the things that you intend to do still remain the same. And it is actually upheld within that domain and that sector as well. It's very, very important we look at it at both the organizational level and at the individual level as well. Then we can talk about the financing options. You see, when it comes to the public sector now, there are several ways in which the government can fund some of the activities within the public sector. Just that sometimes they are always not the sure way that brings the diverse differences as to what to do and how they can be able to get some of the things carried out or some of the things done within the context of the organization. There are a lot of ways where they fund their projects. Sometimes they get loans, sometimes they get funding options from outside the country. So it's like the system safeguards the continuity of a lot of options that are available when it comes to the government supporting, the government funding, the government ensuring that some of the activities within the organization based on context are continually funded and then supported. So the question now we want to discuss is what is actually the future perspective of the public sector? Specifically, let's look at it in terms of the teaching field. So how do you see the public sector? Looking at the current happenings, we are looking at it just in relation to employee welfare. Looking at it in the future, what do you think is lying ahead of us? What do you think is lying ahead of us? Just as per your experiences, what you've experienced so far, what you have learned today about employee welfare and the well-being of individuals, what do you see in the future? Mr. Aminu Alidu, what is your contextual perspective about this? That is a future perspective of the public sector.
Okay, Doc. Although especially in the basic, there have been a lot of promises, but if only the government will go by their promises, I think they have started some from the past government about our continuous professional development. They are giving us some allowances to be able to develop ourselves, go to trainings and searching online and etc. And also we were given some laptops so that we can also advance ourselves in terms of ICT and other promises such as the new government saying they are going to build accommodations for every school that they build now. In the basic school, they will attach accommodations, and if others like making it easy for us to access a loan for cars or import cars for teachers. I think it will be that's the foreseeable future we are seeing. We are anticipating to see in the near future.
Very well. That's a very good observation. At least from your lens, Ghana is very hopeful to develop and to make livelihood within the public sector more attractive day in day out. Thank you so much. Madam Anita, what do you see the public sector to be from the foreseeable future?
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, madam.
Doc, I'm having a sore throat, so I don't know whether You can hear
Oh,
me.
okay. Sorry. We can hear you, but if you don't want to strain your voice, we can move to the next person.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's say Mr. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, what do you see? What is the future perspective of public sector within, let's take for instance just the teaching field? What do you see? What are the prospects in there? Please, can you hear me now? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. I think Mr. Benjamin is not around. Madam Catherine Minta, what do you see?
Hello.
Yes,
Mm,
madam.
As for me, I also think that if, let's say, our conditions of service are improved, with the introduction of the new curriculum, you could see that the framework of how the teaching and other things are supposed to be done is good. So if let's say, the things we need are provided, it will make it conducive for the teaching field or the teachers to be able to perform best, so that we can have students who are well equipped. So I see that in the near future, the education sector will be a better place if provided all things are supplied and are made use of
Very
by
well.
the teachers. Thank you.
Very well. Very well. All right. That's a very good observation. Mr. Charles Samoa, what do you see the public sector to be in the next few years?
All right, sir. Thank you. What I would say is that per what we've seen so far this morning in our lectures, if it is if the management are not only being a lip service ways of lip service were just when they implement, when they bring strategies to enhance the public sector, they just leave those aspects on a notice board rather than being implementing. If they implement those things, then I see the public sector to be one of the best as compared to the developed countries. The how our counterparts in developed countries are benefiting. Equally, we can also get this in Ghana, except they leave the implementation on a notice board. Thank you.
Very well. Very well. So Mr. Charles is of the perspective that the future is so promising when it comes to the public sector. However, we don't need to just be theoretical in our approach. We must practice it. We must ensure that there is continuity of what we intend to achieve at the end of the period. That's a very good point as well. Let's look at it from the perspective of let's see, Mr. Emmanuel Asiedu.
Yes, dog. Yeah. From my perspective, in the next 2 years, the public sector will be a better place to be, and provided we the employees too, we are ready to accept the change that is upcoming. Because currently, as it stands, some teachers even buying data out of the data allowance, as my colleague earlier on said, taking some little money out of the PDA and the data allowance to even go for workshops becomes a problem for them. Some only want to enjoy the money but don't want to develop themselves. So if per the conditions being aligned now, if we are ready, if we accept it in good faith, then the public sector will see a new face. Thank you, Doc.
Very well. That's a very good perspective as well. Let's see. Mr. Samson Ohinijan, I think we have not heard your voice today. Where do you see the new face? Where do you see it?
Hello.
Hey, it's Madame.
Good morning.
The voice of a woman.
Please. It's a woman. Okay, so what I see is that with the public sector, maybe precisely education, gradually adopting the technology or digital technology, I think that with continuous training, like we are seeing workshops and other things, I see a lot of improvement, or I see a lot of efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. Thank you.
Okay, that's a very good point. That's fine. Is Madame Christina around? I think I have not heard from her. Okay, Mr.
I'm
Mausi.
here. Sir, I'm
Oh,
here.
okay. So we'll come to you next. Let Mr. Mausi present his view, and then we'll come to you. So, Mr. Mausi, let's have your submission, sir.
I'm just adding to my friends, and I'm seeing that the next 2 years it will be brighter than it is now, in the sense
Okay.
that we are taking note of the the advancements or the technologies. What we will encourage is the implementation of the policies. If properly implemented, I'm sure we'll get better. The whole thing is rotating around employee welfare, which means management. If the management will take up the challenge in all the sectors, I'm sure we'll go far and it will be better or brighter than it is today. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's a very good point. That's all. Yes, Madam Christina. Let's have your submission, please.
Okay, sir. From what we've done so far, employee welfare, where we defined it as basically monetary and non-monetary. I think for us now, since increments time, it's been on paper. It is left with the implementation. All that we have been saying about good working conditions for teachers and all that, it's on paper. But has it been implemented? And the answer is no. Look forward to the implementation of it only if they wouldn't say teachers are many as they have been saying, and they are going to treat especially teachers like all other public sector workers. Then trust me, education some years to come will be very, the students that we are seeing now will be the students that we saw previous years to come, where they were very serious with their studies.
Very well. That's a very good submission as well. Thank you so much for thank you so much for adding your voice to it. You see, one thing that we can't leave out of respect to this modernization, these issues, respect to the new phase that we are seeing, is the aspect of globalization and technological advancement. See, it had added some new dimension and a new domain, and a new phase to whatever we saw previously, whatever it was previously, and whatever it was supposed to be. And there is something that, and not just the teaching field, not just the educational perspective, just the public sector as a whole and in general. And it's something that we are all seeing an effect of it. So basically, what we are trying to communicate in this is that the future of public sector is shaped by continuous technological advancement. So the thing is continuous. So it means that if you adopt to a system today, you don't remain in that system. You ensure that there is a system of a continuity. So at this level, we have all been able to embrace this dimension, and that dimension is that we want to be technologically innovative in our public sector, to be at par with, maybe for instance, the close to maybe the private sector. That is the assumption, because in Africa the assumption is that the private sector as of now might be doing way better than the public sector, which in actual essence it is not supposed to be the case. But that is what we are experiencing. That is what certain sectors in the government are experiencing. I recall I was once mentoring a teacher who is now a lecturer now. I was once mentoring the person, and the person was always of the view that the private sector is way better than the public sector. And I was also of the view of the other way around. And it was actually the case where we came to a particular conclusion that if you are supposed to look at the things that are enshrined in the name of those in the public sector and adhering to it, it would have been way, way better than those in the private sector. But this is the case, it is something we don't do. This is the case, it's something that we have decided, like people have decided, an intentional decision that this is what we intend to do. With respect to us, this is the pathway we want to lay. With respect to us, this is where, or this is how we want it to actually be. And a lot of people are taking advantage of it. They spend in that particular domain, whatever is actually aligned or associated with it. They are just there, they are spending, they are using in the name of the individual, they are using in the name of the person, and sometimes it becomes an issue. A lot of people in a way or two don't even know that some of the things that are supposed to be an advantage to them has already been enshrined in their manual. A lot of people don't know that this is not a good that the person is doing. This is an advantage. This is something that is an advantage to you. Yet, it is something that we are not seeing. So it is very, very important we get to understand the systems around these. We get to understand the dealings around it. We get to understand what must be communicated or what should be communicated in line with it, or how it should be aligned to take effect in this mindset as well. Then we're also talking about the aspect of pushing for a reorganizing of the public sector. If you want to really see innovations, if you want to really embrace the pathway of newness, if you really want to understand that some of the things that are happening can be done in a much more construed and a better way, then it means you must actually re-strategize, regroup. You regroup yourself, you put things together, you try as much as possible to adapt to some of the things that are very key. Not just very key, but some of the things that are very needful when it comes to the next pattern. The next way that you intend to actually make the sector quite innovative, quite appreciated, quite interesting, and that is another aspect that should be looked at. What are some factors that are actually talking about issues with respect to modernization sector more appreciative? They're talking about how to really ensure that the welfare of individuals are actually upheld. If you are talking about all these things, then you should know that people are the ones that are in charge. There are individuals who are in charge or who are supposed to be in charge of this thing that we are talking about. So those that are in charge of these steps you want to take, what are we doing? What are some of the things that can influence their behavior? What are some of the things that today we are saying that this person is doing very well? This person, at least we can boast of an individual who is quite more integrable in this field. Yet this same person will get to that area and you are wondering whether that was the same person that were advocating for change. Like the politicians, forgive me per se. Everyone is a yes man. Everyone is a yes man until you give them power. Oh, yes, I can do it. Yes, I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do that. Yes, I'll be able to do this. I'll be able to do that. Everyone is a yes, sir. Everyone will do everything in a way. But just come to a place where you give them the power and you begin to wonder, was this actually the person that made mention of this? What happened to this person? What was the issue? Are we sure we are on the same path? And it becomes a very big blow and a very big challenge in our sector. So it's very, very important we get to understand some of the things that have been shaping the mindset of individuals. And one of the things that have actually been identified as one key area that makes it quite a root within individuals that change perspective with respect to being influenced by unethical domain is an aspect of culture. A lot of people have several cultures that it's not necessarily the way of life, but it's like They are accustomed to it in such a way that when the family dependence is on one person, for instance, you are the only teacher in your family, everyone is not working, or almost 10 people are not working. They have families, and you are the only one. You are the only one at it as a teacher. You'll be expected in a way or two to actually cater for them. And if you are expected to cater for them, and the amount that you are having is not enough to cater for them, as an obligation, you tend to actually use dubious means or diabolic means to siphon money to help them, because you feel obligated, you feel so much obligated in that particular area to actually do what? To want to assist. So culture is one of the things that shapes ethical behavior. The other aspect is education, which I'll not touch more on, because that is something that we have all come to embrace. A lot of people are having ideologies. They came to school and then they realized that no, this was not the case. The case was something different. This was not the issue. It was something different. Then we can talk about the upbringing, how you were brought up, how you were nurtured, how you were brought up in the society that you live in, where you were groomed. All these actually form parts of the person that can be ethical or unethical. We can talk about peer influences. We can talk about your religion. We can talk about the personal principles, that is principles that you build for yourself. And we can talk about the perception about life. A lot of individuals are having diverse perceptions about life. Their perspective about life is quite different. Sometimes you begin to wonder whether this is the same person that had domains of diverse views as to this is what I intend to do, or this is what I intend to achieve. People are having diverse views and diverse domains when it comes to the pathway through ethical leadership or ethical behavior as well. So the book manual, I've already uploaded it on the platform. Please do what to read on the seismic shift in public service. And it's just talking about where it was and where it is heading towards. It's a paradigm that actually looks at the public sector that was then and where it is gearing towards. We are moving from one phase to the other. So just read them for a better understanding. Then we move on to the aspect of the citizen-centric centricity remains a priority. That is basically respect to the public sector. The public sector, you recall when we're defining what the public sector was, we're looking at it where the government was providing certain goods and rendering certain services to the citizens of the country, of which we got to understand that some of these things cannot be done by the government itself, but he contracts some of us as public officers to actually ensure that some of the activities are done and carried out on behalf of the government. So in line with that, what we are saying is that in this particular context, the focus remains the same. The focus should not change. Whether you are in for A or you are in for B, the most important aspect is to ensure that the service delivery or the product that you are supposed to actually provide, the service that you must render in this our domain, should be construed to the aspect of the citizens, and that should not change. A lot of people change their perspective, change their domain, change their mindset, provided they become accustomed to the systems and the schemes within that sector. And it's something that is not very healthy when it comes to the public sector. That is why, as of now, a lot of people, when they are not feeling well, they would want to go to the private hospital. Why? Because they think that the services in the private hospital is far more better than the services in the public hospital, which in a way or two could be true because of the things that we have seen, because of the things we have heard within the public sector, because of some of the things that we have experienced within the public sector. And sometimes you have no idea the thing that people are going through. They will tell you that this person shouldn't have died. If I had taken this person to this hospital, this wouldn't have happened. If you have taken this person to this wouldn't have been so. All these things are true. However, you can't just generalize it in such a way that because it was not so, this is the thing that resulted in it. So to bring more innovation within the public sector, it is very important and it's very key. We look at embracing the aspect of keeping our focus on the citizens and not any other perspective, because the citizens are the main focus or are the centrality. They are the main people that we are looking at, and we are intending to actually shape and then provide services or render services to in this context. So some of the strategies to build citizen-centric government, that is how that is in context where the government actually contracts some of us as public officers to ensure that we operate in dealings with the public on its behalf. How would then the government be able to build a good and an excellent strategic alliance amongst the two? We are saying that the first domain is to foster organizational change. How does the government embrace organizational change? It is very, very important. A lot of the government structures and systems do not allow for continuity. And because they don't allow for continuity, organizational change becomes a problem. So a lot of individuals feel that no, when it comes to this organization, you can't amass too much. Not necessarily because there is no system or structure, but because when it comes to embracing technology, when it comes to embracing advancement, when it comes to embracing newness, there is so much lacking behind. And that is something a lot of people are afraid of. Mostly people think that, oh, the moment you are bringing new ideas within the organization, you would want to contest for their position, don't contest for their portfolio. And a lot of people have diabolic mindset and diabolic views about these things. And truthfully, it is the case. And it is something a lot of people have been talking about, a lot of individuals, a lot of leaders are scared of, especially those in the public sector. They see that they are having just a master's degree. You are somebody, you have master's degree, you have chartered accountancy, you have certifications, and a whole lot of things. Then they begin to be scared of who you are. They begin to wonder whether you are in to actually seek the betterment of the organization or you are in for their job. And sometimes they are a bit skeptical whether to even give you certain rules because they fear the most. Because any least mistake, they will think they don't qualify well enough in that your category. And sometimes it is actually the case. Sometimes because of how we also behave, we intimidate people who want to help us, and it becomes an issue also in that context as well. Then we must also be able to develop a construed leadership that can be able to embrace the citizen as a whole, because now there is lack of trust in the public domain. How do you restore trust? You can restore trust by ensuring that there is trust in the leadership. The leadership can be trusted. The leadership said to the citizens within this community, we will build this for you. They came, they built it. It means that the individuals or the citizens within the organization or within the neighborhood begins to develop a level of trust for you because you said something, you have been able to put it in practice. You made mention of something, and we are seeing the realities of that which you made mention of, which is something that is very, very important and is very key and should be adhered to. That is in case you would want to actually ensure and build a system of a citizen-centric governance within the country through the public sector. We can talk about establishing cultures and values, building customer relationships, managing performance, and then supporting sustainability, which is very, very important. With the support of sustainability, who can explain how the support of sustainability will facilitate and build a citizen-centric government? Who can do that? How do you think supporting sustainability would warrant the building of citizen-centric government? How do you think it can land in that? Yes. Let's see. Mr. DeGraft, how do you think that supporting sustainability can warrant the building of a citizen-centric government? Mr. DeGraff, can you hear me? can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Say we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's fine. So let's move on then. Okay. So then it means that if you want to achieve all these, bearing in mind the welfare and the well-being of employees, bearing in mind their output or the outcome that is looking at um, upgrading or building on the quality of life of citizens within the country by means of government systems and measurements or schemes through the public offices. It is very important we develop a cluster concept in public service. It is very important we develop a system that is robust but not stringent enough to be able to adapt to the systems and the schemes within the public service. So what does it mean? It means that government at all levels play a crucial role. Very important. Government at all levels. So it is not that you are not significant. It is not that because you are at that local assembly or you are within that rural area, it is not constituted. No. What is actually intended to mean is that in this case, in this same case, or in this same scenario, we are trying as much as possible to appreciate and embrace that whatever you are doing is an extension of the government's role. And if you do it very well, it is going to help the government to actually establish a good relationship with its citizens and also ensuring that your well-being will be upheld at the long run or in the long run. So it's very, very important you look at it from that perspective as well. More so, we are saying that central coordination and active public-private dialogue, very, very key. That is when there are certain innovations that sometimes takes place within the private sector, but are not or have not been privy to the public sector. So there are certain things that can be engaged in within that domain. Once it is engaged in, the organizations tend to actually embrace some of these happenings, and the public sector undergoes reforms. Because the moment you undergo reforms, it means that you are developing yourself to become better. And once you become better, you actually embrace the dimension of a reformed public sector through the service that is rendered by the public officers as well. You can also understand or come from the perspective of engaging in data-driven decisions. That is by means of what? The analytics. That is comparing data. This work in this particular sector. This can work here. This work in this particular field. We believe that this can strongly be applicable in this particular domain. So it is something that we are adopting today in there. I think Ghana, we are slowly migrating from the traditional center scheme to the technological domain or the technology era, because a lot of individuals now embrace technology. A lot of our reforms are embracing technology. A lot of decisions that are made, that are taken within our sector, is actually within the public sector. Within the public sector is actually construed within certain technological innovative ideas or certain technological innovative perspective, which in a way or two could also be very key when it comes to that which we intend to achieve at the end of the day. That is looking at it from an organizational perspective, looking at it from an organizational lens, comparing data. This data actually work with teachers in the northern region. Let us try and then adopt this practice and see whether it will work with teachers who are within the southern sector as well. This particular system helped or worked within areas in the Bron Ahafo region. Let us see whether it will work with teachers or those in the public office or the public sector in the administrative sector or in the health sector. That is just trying as much as possible to adopt certain intergovernmental agencies trying to do cross-cultural balances and differences to ensure that the outcome may be to improve upon the sector or maybe to improve upon the sections within that sector as well. So it's very, very key we look at it from that perspective. All right. So we are saying that by leveraging big data and technology, governments can cut costs, enhance transparency, forecast outcomes, and then rebuild public trust, which is very key, as I mentioned earlier on. So we want to achieve this. So in order to achieve this, we must try as much as possible to ensure that the motive, the purpose, all these things are construed to citizens. And once we do that, we try as much as possible to leverage with technology to reduce costs. As of now, I think previously the cost, the amounts, the details that we used to spend on, let's say, documentations, paperwork, have been reduced drastically because of the migration of to technological domains. Now, with respect to technology, we are embracing that dimension gradually, and it is being embraced in such a way that one, as a now, we can boldly say that at least when you're having your computer at the workplace, all documentations are on it, all documents are on it. There is no need for you to be keeping some files, going to buy other things, buying other materials, trying to getting an office space to keep all these documents. No, but because of that migration, the public sector has undergone several innovations, and these innovations have actually brought to bear some of the advancements within that area, and these advancements are geared towards improving the public sector through the public offices as well. Then we can also look at creating the creation of the knowledge economy through public policy. So that is when we try as much as possible to embrace that dimension where instances and decisions are construed to promote creativity, advanced cognitive skills, science and technology education, and then all this can be done through effective training and then government support, which is quite the case as of now, which is quite the case now, because a lot of individuals, a lot of people, a lot of people are looking at embracing that domain, that aspect of technology, embracing that aspect of newness, creativity, and because the government is providing support. As I think someone mentioned earlier on that as of now, a lot of individuals in a way have been provided with data allowance. What is supposed to be done? That data allowance is to help the teacher to go online, to learn, to adopt to some of the technologies. You are receiving certain allowances that are geared, or that is for instance, as was rightly explained earlier on, that some of the workshops are supposed to be compulsory in nature to develop yourself so that you can be able to be productive to ensure that the economy is stabilized. But there are other people, there are individuals that they would also not do it, not because they don't want to do it, but because they don't understand the need for it. So once you understand the need for some of these things, once you understand the need for embracing such dimensions of technology, it becomes quite easier for advancements to be seen, advancements to be realized, advancements to be embraced within the public sector through the public officers in our capacity. So the government should continually insist and then ensure that support is provided. In what way? Making provision the available resources. I think someone earlier on shared the sentiment with respect to the availability of the TLMs. Sometimes it doesn't come on time. Even if it comes on time, sometimes the understanding becomes vague. Sometimes they have to develop another workshop. We have to organize another workshop for some of these things. And sometimes all these things becomes a big problem, not because we can't do it, but because the government have not invested well enough in that area to ensure that we can be able to update ourselves, to ensure that we can be able to embrace some of this newness in this technology. And that is where the problem actually comes in. Provided there is needed support by the government, provided there is no issue respect to trying as much as possible to go to school, like you want to get a study leave. Sometimes some people even have to pay protocol to be approved to have a study leave, and sometimes it's quite appalling. Some investment that I want to make to the government, an investment I want to make to the society, an investment I want to make to my country, then I'll have to pay for it again. And that is where it doesn't really speak well of the system as well. And you're also saying that government must foster innovation, very key. innovation is very key. It is a government responsibility to foster innovation and competition in education while ensuring that inclusivity, digitalization, and citizen participation build a skilled future ready workforce, which is very, very important. So until you get to understand that some of these perspectives are key, there is always going to be the lacking behind of the understanding of what is intended to be communicated in terms of the new public sector the government may be building. If you are providing the support, it means that you must ensure that you foster innovation. How do you foster innovation? You foster innovation by ensuring that provision of resources that will facilitate the innovation have been made, building certain projects or public sector workforces that actually facilitates innovation. There are several institutions in Ghana. A typical example is I've forgotten that. There is a research center also, a research center. A research center, however, the research, the CSIR, it's a research center, but you go there. I've been there myself, the center in Central, I've been there myself twice. You realize that the same thing that even researching it, they are lacking the instrument that will necessitate their research. And sometimes you wonder whether we are actually moving forward or we are coming backward, because something that will necessitate or facilitate our research that defines our relevance in the public sector, the same thing is actually being done, or the same resources are not given or released. Then what is the essence? What is the need? What is the headache even about it? How do we then actually embrace some of these systems as a whole? Very good. Let's move on. So with respect to that, we can say that we can start by also creating crowdsourcing in the public sector. So creating crowdsourcing in the public sector. When you talk about crowdsourcing, what does it mean? When you talk about crowdsourcing, what does it mean? Yes, Madam Christina. What does it mean, crowdsourcing, to you? Madam Christina, are you available? Crowdsourcing, what does it mean?
Yes, dog, I'm available. Sorry, I had to.
Okay,
Please, the question
that's
again.
fine. We
Sorry,
want to
the
find
question
out, when
again.
you talk about crowdsourcing, what does it mean?
Getting ideas from.
Crowdsourcing, what does it mean?
It means that you getting ideas from
Yes, getting ideas from.
consulting different people, not one particular
Okay,
as in crowd, different people, different kinds of people.
okay, that's fine. Mr. Mousy, when you talk about crowdsourcing, what comes to mind?
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
I think, as my sister say, sourcing from various people. That's my idea anyway.
Okay. Any other? Crowdsourcing. All right. So as it has been said, we are looking at leveraging the collective ideas. We are looking at leveraging intelligence. We are looking at leveraging resources from other places. So it could be the private sector, it could be still the public sector, provided we can leverage resources from them. We are trying as much as possible to actually create, but now mostly it's done through online platforms. It's usually done through online platforms, and the motive is to solve problems to generate ideas and to complete some specific tasks. So once you are able to go through some of these systems, it gives us the understanding, it gives us the leverage, it brings us to the place where there is a typical form of an in-depth knowledge as to how the public sector within the domain or within the country can be able to create knowledge for pushing the economy or the economic value of the organization or of the institution as well. We can talk about democracy as collaborative problem solving. That is when you come together as one to be able to understand, to be able to embrace, to be able to appreciate, to be able to really know the things that are actually connected to these systems. What are these systems about? What are we supposed to do? This one tried this, it did not work. Then it means that we must try another. This one said this, it did not work. Then it means that we must try it in another way. How do we try all those things in ways that could facilitate or necessitate the outcome of what we intend to achieve? But it's very, very important. You don't just assume or presume that it is going to work because it worked in organization A or institution A. You embrace all these to actually facilitate what is intended to be achieved at the end of the period towards problem solving. The next aspect is what? It's innovative collaboration. Innovative collaboration. You must actually ensure innovative collaboration, because if you want to spearhead the and push the economy of the country, specifically through public policy or by means of the public sector, you must actually embrace the aspect of innovation. What is that particular domain? What is that newness in that area? What can be done in a new way in that sector, in that public sector that you are looking at? What can be done? What are the things that should be done? What should be embraced? What are some of the things that you think can actually add more value? What are some of the things that can add new things? What are some of the systems that can bring and present things anew? All these are very relevant and salient ways of trying as much as possible to embrace the possibilities and those dimensions in line with the public sector. Very good. So basically, it brings us to the curtain for today. We have looked at the welfare of employees within the public sector. We have transited through and we have gone through all the transitions that are very needful and required for the basis of the platform. Please, is there any question for us to discuss? Do you have any question for us to discuss? Okay. If there is no question, please, I want to admonish you. Kindly
No,
be
sir.
using, okay, kindly be using the platform. I'm begging you. Kindly be going to the platform to be submitting your works, to be submitting your documents, to be submitting your responses. Please, it is very, very important. Make sure you submit your responses. I've taught you how to navigate your way around the platform. I think as of now, we should all be able to know how to actually have our way or find our way around the platform. So please try as much as possible to know how to handle it, know how to go around it. Just try as much as possible to get and submit the responses as and when we upload the questions over there. I've also updated the platform. This lecture notes have been made available, the PowerPoint, all of them. You go to week 4 and you will see them there. The assignment has also been given. It is there. Please make sure you get everything done. All right. Since there is no further engagement, there is no further question. Next week, we will discuss much more about I think that we have 2 units to go, unit 5 and then unit 6. And then once we are done, we will discuss the quiz. I think there is a quiz that is coming up right after. Let me check the timeline. Okay. Okay. So I think on the 15th to 16th of November. That is when you're going to write your quiz. And then on the 22nd through to the 30th of November, you'll write your end of semester examination. So, with respect to doing that timeline, next week we will discuss the quiz, and then possibly after the lecture, we'll look at the exams as well. But you should know that it cuts across the 6 units. We are supposed to handle 6 units. We are done with 4 so far. It cuts across those units. So we will look at it, and then possibly next week we will discuss with them a few points. My DMs are open, my WhatsApp is available, my mail is available. If you encounter any problem or there's any issue, please do all get through to me. Let us discuss it. And at the end of the day, we'll come to a conclusive end. Thank you so much for the audience. I appreciate you for coming and joining the class. Thank you for paying attention. And whenever there is any instance, just communicate to me. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.